Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
Yes, good afternoon, family. Good evening from my end. 22 minutes past the top of the hour. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, easy Thursday. It's been a beautiful day here, beautiful weather, and I hope you guys are also enjoying.
Watch out for beautiful weather, huh?
Yeah, whether you are at work, whether you are at home, whatever this stream is catching you live from. For the first time, karibuni sana, subscribe, follow us if you are on Rumble, BitChute, if you are on YouTube, to the returning listeners on the radio. Hope you guys are doing great. Shout out to Byron Scott. I see you early and ready for the conversation. And shout out to everyone, of course, who shall be catching the
Byron been in the chat room earlier. What you retired something, Byron? How you always here over there all of a sudden now, man? You're all the time.
You can, as you wait this out, you can type on YouTube as you wait for the stream. So I do understand that. But Karibuni Sana family, we shall be talking about the fail of the United States Empire. But before we get into that amazing conversation, I have, of course, my conversation also aligned. This week I've made it, literally, I think for the past 2-3 weeks, I've made it mandatory to ensure once a week I'm sharing some soul food with you guys to understand also you guys.
What kind of soul food you sharing with us? Usually you say,
I didn't like the cornbread, being honest, until I have the
cornbread. Cornbread is delicious, Joby. Joby, you eat beef chitlins and lamb chitlins. Cornbread will be delicious to you.
Not without the sugar. The sugar part, I don't know. I'm trying to just give it the taste without the sugar because the fact it looks like piece of sliced cake, bread.
Some is sweet, some is not.
It's baked,
Like baked, so and it melts in your mouth.
And of course, we shared also some chitlins. So why some people actually love chitlins. It's the origin of chitlins. Where majority of
Byron Scott said he let him chitlins. He can have that. He can have that now.
Yeah, he said he loves himself still some chitlins and jibba jabba, the pig feet. Shout out to you wherever you are. But anyway,
I don't think Jibba Jabba's eating pig feet still. I know Jibba said he was eating when he was a kid.
Today we'll be sharing about the collard greens. I don't know.
Collard greens. That's it. The collard. You gotta say it like this, Joe. We gotta have a say. They say, y'all go get y'all some collard greens, baby.
Come. Okay. That way, follow Kit's accent. Yeah, so I was watching this and of course looking at how you guys always enjoy your collard greens with maybe sometimes with beans.
They got them in Africa. It's called, I forgot, they call something different in Africa.
Yeah, for us it's Skuma Wiki. In East
Africa.
Skuma
Wiki. It's like we learned jambalaya. It's actually Joe Long Rice.
It's like we love Skuma. Personally, I love Skuma Wiki a lot. Those are the kales mixed with a little bit of spinach, but I prefer mine without spinach because I'm not a fan of spinach at all. If not, also the Skuma Wiki, I prefer some cabbage because I was one to not take a lot of kales, so I've reduced it. I tried now balance with the cabbage, steamed cabbage to be specific. Right. My cabbage overcooked at all. You eat that alone. So let me share this as we continue.
Black people love collard greens so much. Well, today we're going to talk about it. And if you like stories like this, you can find more stories like this at OneMicHistory.com. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on my Patreon page, on my Bobby Coffee in the description below, Also, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and support the dark green leafy vegetable that is popular around the globe for their taste and their high concentration of vitamins A, C, and K. Collard greens are some of the oldest members of the cabbage family, also known as the tree cabbage. Originating in the Eastern Mediterranean, the name collard is derived from colewort, which means the cabbage plant. Despite their name, collard greens do not grow tight heads like cabbages. Indeed, they are part of the cabbage family, but they're more closely similar to kale. Collard greens were made
Yeah,
popular
that's
in
right.
Europe by the Greeks
Yep.
and the Romans. Ancient Greeks
Joby
grew
said
kale and
what, Joby
collard
said what they were. Like the kill.
Mhm.
Joby said that. Go ahead.
Yeah, skuma wiki.
together and made little distinction between the two. Historians are unsure on whether or not Romans discovered greens through the Greeks or if they started growing them independently. When the Romans went on their conquest of what is now the United Kingdom, they introduced collard greens to European diets around the 4th century BC. Their introduction to Africa, however, comes long before transatlantic slave trade and became a dominant part of African people's diets, even to this day. Many countries in Africa, especially those in Eastern Africa, love the green leafy vegetable, which is known as sukuma wiki. Preparing the collard
Yeah,
greens
yeah,
often
that was
involves boiling or steaming
that
and
was
being
that
served
was
as
Joby called
accompaniments.
them. So at least I go to Kenya, I give me some Screamer Wiki, which is greens, goddammit.
Yeah, skuma wiki, and they're very easy
Yeah,
to plant. They grow
collard,
super fast.
yeah. Collard greens
Yeah,
are called Screamer Wiki, goddammit, in
yeah.
Kenya.
You
So
can you can plant this at the
so
back of your garden, just a
that's right.
small,
So,
and
so I'm a so I'm a smack Irriton in the head to give me some of them damn Screamer Wiki Irriton.
Either meat or fish. They can also be supportive ingredients in soups and stews or with other vegetables. After becoming a staple of European diets, collard greens were brought to the Americas by European settlers in the 17th century. This happened during a period known as the Columbian Exchange, which is an historical event involving the transfer of various goods, animals, plants, people, and even diseases between Europe, West Africa,
Yeah,
and the
we know those
Americas.
we know those
Collard
diseases
greens
came with the
were
Europeans.
loved in the southern part of the United States because other
That's
plants
that,
struggled to
that's
grow
what I
during
told Joby
cold
the
winters.
Southern. Hey baby, give me some of those collard greens. That Southern accent. That's right.
yeah.
Months.
That's where your wife comes from, right? If I'm not wrong.
That's right. That's where her crazy butt came from. That's right. She's Southern. She loved them collard greens, Joby.
That collard greens were so resilient that they could survive through all seasons, but they generally thrive from around January to April. When enslaved Africans were brought here to the United States, they didn't leave their culinary traditions behind. They brought along the traditions and the practices of cooking collard greens. While their oppressors may have consumed select foods, enslaved people were left with the leftovers, which included the harder stems of the collard greens. Despite these tough circumstances, the enslaved Africans showcased their creativity by transforming simple collard greens into flavorful meals. The classic recipe included simmering collard greens slowly in a pot of water until they became tender with either salt pork, ham hocks, or turkey necks to balance out the tough texture and the bitter taste of the greens. Food historian Michael Twitty would state that many culinary historians agree that the green craze in the South is supported by the spring greens among Celtic and Germanic Southerners, but it was really spearheaded by people of African descent. The greens were then served with homemade cornbread, and the practice involved dipping the bread into the broth that remained in the pot, fondly known as the pot liquor. The liquor is the leftover soup at the bottom of the pot that was created from the extended cooking process of leafy greens or beans. After the greens have been cooked thoroughly, the nutrients would often seep to the bottom of the pot. This is basically the liquor that is left in the bottom of the pot. According to Southern wisdom, the pot liquor will cure what ails you, and if nothing ails you, it will at least clean you out. The connection between collard
Yeah, that's true. For me, I love it. When I'm cooking my collard greens, I'll put that aside. It's good for the stomach. It actually helps you a lot. It's
See,
good for the
see, look at that. Hey, that's for all you pretending Negroes. See, we see the connection back to Africa again. Always again, you pretending. How's your diet? Hey, why you guys eat African diets? Say you don't, you're not African. All your food's African. Go ahead, Joe.
greens and African Americans is deeply rooted in historical and the cultural experience. The labor intensive process of cooking collard greens involves cleaning, chopping, and slow simmering often for hours with ham hocks or smoked turkey to amplify the flavor reflects the strenuous hardships of African Americans and how they had to endure them throughout their history. This food preparation ritual is passed down through generations and is intertwined with stories of both struggle and success. Thus, the tradition of cooking and consuming collard greens has evolved beyond a cultural staple. Today stands as a symbol of both wealth and prosperity. This is especially true on New Year's Day dinners within the African American community. Collard greens is served with black eyed peas and hog fat on New Year's Day and promises to bring good luck and financial reward. Hanging a fresh collard green leaf on your door is said to ward off evil spirits, and a fresh leaf placed on your forehead promises to cure headache. During the Jim Crow period, many restaurants would not serve African Americans, and this led to them relying on home cooked meals or food from Black owned restaurants, creating what we can now know as soul food. This kind of cuisine was filled with affordable, nutrient rich ingredients like collard greens, cornbread, sweet potatoes, and pork. As it was a comfort food, it created a sense of community during tough times. Soul food became an integral part of the African American experience. Soul food also played a vital role in church gatherings in the Black community and helped spread the popularity of collard greens across the country. As a result of the awareness and appreciation, restaurants began to serve soul food classics like collard greens, pushing these flavors from niche family meals into the mainstream. During the Great Migration, numerous African Americans relocated from the agrarian South into more industrialized northern and western cities in pursuit of better jobs and a better quality of life. Amidst this unfamiliar territory and this new urban lifestyle came ready-made meals. But these African Americans carried with them their Southern traditions. Their culinary practice of eating and consuming collard greens made their way to their new homes and provided them with a nostalgic connection back to their Southern roots. It was like having a piece of Southern tradition in a new, unfamiliar place. During the Civil Rights Movement, food played an important part and went far beyond just keeping people fed. Soul food suppers, which served collard greens, were a significant part of the African American community, and they served two important roles. Firstly, they raised money for the Civil Rights Movement. Secondly, these food traditions kept a sense of culture and heritage alive during a stressful, challenging period. Adrian Miller, the author of Soul Food as a Culinary Creation, explains how food was able to create a strong sense of belonging. Dishes like collard greens and fried chicken helped create a unified African American identity and was critical to the success of the Civil Rights Movement. However, some people did see collard greens in a negative light. They viewed them as a symbol of hardship and as a bitter history.
That's true. Even here in Africa, if you eat collard greens, you're considered, it's like you don't have money, it's like you're poor. I don't know why people have this mentality, but personally, I'll have it as part of my food. I think that's actually why I was warned at the hospital, because I eat a lot of this. I eat a lot. Like, I think I serve myself a lot than everyone, everyone on
You
the
got,
other,
you
because I like
got,
it.
that means you got soul, Joby. You eat
I
soul
love
food.
it. I love it. So it's crazy when people have the mentality that this is actually, it's like you're poor. It's like, it's like a bad food. It's crazy. It's a really nice, healthy food. Actually, the most amazing. If you have it with just avocado and ugali, you don't even need meat. Trust me.
Of enslavement. A number of educated African Americans thought that soul food, which included collard greens, was not healthy or nearly polished enough. They tried to distance themselves from the traditional food and aimed to adopt what they viewed as a more elevated eating habits. Despite this, during the Black Power movement in the early 70s, the opinion of these foods changed once again, as foods like collard greens were now being looked on as a form of protest against oppression. These foods were a way of celebrating African American culture and racial pride, despite the continual attempts to hold back and erase the African American historical experience. Views on collard greens have evolved a lot since the Civil Rights Movement and the Black Power movement. And even though the reputation of soul food being unhealthy has lingered, changes have started to happen in how these foods are being made. For example, traditional dishes like collard greens have begun to be slow cooked with healthier ingredients and less salt, and other methods like sauteing and stir frying were being used to try to keep the tradition alive while being considered more healthy. Today, collard greens have gained popularity due to their increasingly health conscious individuals. They provide a high amount of vitamins A, C, and K, and fiber, as well as other minerals. Because of these beneficial nutrients, the African American community in particular has started to recognize the healthiness of collard greens and try to highlight the nutrient rich nature of the greens to shake off the negative opinion that surrounds soul food as a whole. Collard greens are an essential part of soul food. It's a type of cuisine that originates directly from African American roots. From the Night Watch, which is an event that remembers the Emancipation Proclamation, to casual get togethers, family gatherings, and other traditional holidays, collard greens continue to signify a symbol of African American history and heritage. Thank you.
Yeah, so exactly. If you love some collard greens, ensure you add that as part of your food. Personally, it's a must, a must, a must. Even if, despite being warned by the doctor, I'm just regulating it. Like I said, I balance it with now steamed cabbage. We have other greens. Actually, if you come to Africa, the advantage you guys are gonna have is that we have, apart from just the skuma wiki, apart from cabbage, apart from lettuce, we have other more amazing greens. Actually, more nutrients green, like the ones you not find maybe in you guys side. I bet that something like saga. I don't know how that is called in English. We have terere, one that is slimy, like the how's it called? What's this? There's this food that is always slimy. What's the name? I forgot the name. Kid, okra. Okra is slimy, right? So we also have another green that is slimy that is actually very nice with ugali. Very, very nice. We have some kunde that you eat with beef, which is very good. We have very different, many amazing ingredients. But as we get to continue today's conversation, before we get into the main one, I have another video I want to share. This is about land scamming, since we're talking about, of course, some benefits of food and benefits of things you can get when you come to Africa. I want to talk about this or share this. Keith has been telling you guys, of course, the things he won't mention that is doing behind the scene. And this is just to educate some of you. If you're looking forward to invest in Africa, you need to find, again, people that actually trust is very important, and also very hard to, having people who are really loyal and people you can really rely on without being scammed and all that. I don't know, but it's up to you to do research, find the right group of people, and also, know what you really want. Do your own research, especially so you can understand what is happening around you.
Exactly, Joby. Can you imagine? I just in the Popeyes, took forever. Somebody just ordered $500 worth of damn Popeyes chicken. Like, what the hell? So we had to wait 10 minutes because they took all the chicken. Who the hell is on $500 worth of damn chicken? Lie. I was gonna show you, but y'all would have started laughing. Everybody and their mamas up in there. Like, man, I'm in here now. Shit. So I was first in line. The other guy said, "Man, I can't wait all this time." I said, "It's only like 15 minutes, man." He said, "Nah, I'm gone." So I was first in line, so he left.
Wow.
$500 damn dollars worth of chicken.
That's why China is making fun of literally Americans. I mean, if that's the behavior, $500 chicken, like, you're getting fat.
Yeah, those are Chinese and Indian people, Joby. Those are a bunch of Chinese people. I wish I took my. There's a bunch of Chinese people. Literally, that's why I said they must be like in a bus, a tour bus, because like I said, it's eastern and it's down by Panama City. Shit, there's a bunch of Chinese and Indian people. All that damn chicken, Joby.
Share to them. But I want to share this video before with our conversation. And I'm just saying that for those who are looking forward again to invest in Africa, I think this is something we've been talking about. This coming from the big nose brother who lives in Uganda, but he's sharing literally a video of how Jamaicans have been land scamming Black Americans. That is the Jamaicans who actually have connections, who have been touring across the African continent.
In Jamaica or in America? I mean, were they in Jamaica or Africa?
Jamaicans who actually have access of traveling through Africa, but are scamming Black Americans, right?
Oh, you wonder what? There you go, George guy. You wonder why I'll be messing with y'all.
Yeah, so let me share this, and I'm just saying,
Go ahead, Joe.
family as well. I feel like you're a good example again. Come to Africa before you settle on any business. Visit the continent. Visit the countries you'd like maybe to set up a business. But Keith has been also advising you the countries to avoid, the countries to go into. The countries that
Well,
actually.
it's really no countries to avoid, guys. Like Joe was saying, it just like I said, you got to do networking. Like Joe and him have been working with me forever, so I trust him. You got to you got to build networking, guys. You can't just are you going to go into a country and start doing so? So I told you the people that's failing in Tanzania, they never built networks. You got to understand, people see you as a come up, right? And so now you're dealing with a lot of corruption in the countries. They're going to be corrupt towards you, and they look at you and say, "Oh, all you Black Americans are looking to come back to Africa and have a connection with your past." You're like, okay, sounds like some money to be made to me. So
You have to be careful. You gotta
yeah,
be
exactly.
Don't come in blindly. Again, I hate this notion of, because I've still been seeing it literally. People have still this notion of, you think Africans are stupid. You're the stupid
I
one.
know. Don't. Hey, you think Africans are stupid? You're gonna run around here butt naked and broke.
Exactly. You're the stupid one here, so don't come thinking people are stupid. People don't, we live in trees the way you've been lied to. We live under hats. Actually, hats are very expensive. So how about that? Hats are now the most expensive resorts that actually you can go, because they're cool. They have this cool air. The food is nice because it's Swahili made food. The welcoming is nice. You'll find Maasais dancing there for you, welcoming you as our nature, the kindness. But let me share this. We hear the land's coming, because this is very alerting, because it's growing.
Many people believe it's hard to get Black people together to do something positive, but a lot of folks believe you can get Black people together to do something negative, like going to the club, going to go buy Jordans, booty clapping sounds, and of course, criminal activities.
Shout out to somebody told you the club is where poor people go to celebrate their poverty. Shout out to somebody got that right. The club is where poor people go to celebrate their poverty. Hey.
God damn. I'm glad I don't go to the club anymore. Oh my God.
This isn't always true, but there is some truth to it. But one thing I will tell you that works here in Repat YouTube is Black people can come together to definitely scam. Not only African Americans. We got our homeboys from Jamaica. Yaman, Bamba Nut. I don't want to say the real word because it might be, like I said, offensive. But yes, we have the shower posse of Jamaican scammers in Africa. It's not just African Americans. We got the Caribbeans in on it too. And we want to expose to you the shower posse scammers from Jamaica.
Pause that. You guys don't know what the shower posse was. So you guys know. Shower posse was what the Jamaicans were called back in the late 80s and early 90s in America, when they were drug dealers and killing people. So he's got to get some content. I'm sure he heard it from somebody, because this guy's the least uncool person, Black guy I know. So he probably just heard it from somebody said. If you guys don't know, Shower Posse was a group of Jamaicans that were affiliated in Miami and New York that were drug dealers. And they were known as the infamous Shower Posse. So he's just making a nickname for the Jamaicans, in Africa, naming them the Shower Posse. The original Shower Posse was a cat came to America and set up drug dens in Miami, mainly in Miami and New York. Go ahead, Joby.
Very nice guy by the name of Bomani Tyehimba.
Email, it has a scanned copy of all the legal paperwork. So they'll be able to just look at
it. That guy was a scammer. That guy was on a Dinah show. That dude was a scammer. He was telling people to come to Ghana. I remember that dude. And it's like 4 or 5 years ago. And I don't trust them. I don't trust that Dinah dude either. That was your buddy. That Dinah dude, big nose. That's your buddy. I don't trust that. He's an American. I think Dinah is you guys are both from Sacramento. You guys are both from Northern California. That Dinus, who this guy's show is on, and you, Big Nose Dude. Both y'all from Sacramento. Both you know each other from Sacramento, California. You always got these con men. And I never trust Dinus anyway. I said, man, I don't trust that Dinus dude. Go ahead, Joe.
All kind of information available for people to look over. And what I'm doing is taking a practical lead on this project, because this is what I've been traveling to Ghana for the last 12 years, trying to find people with land and trying to get this to work out. So now that I found something that works out perfect, and I've had all my people go there and look it over, I'm leading by example, and I'm giving full accountability.
He got a Jamaican accent. He got rid of the whole Jamaican accent. See, I wouldn't know he was Jamaican. See, his slick butt got a whole American accent. He got rid of his whole Jamaican. If he had that Jamaican accent, I hate to say, Joe, but I always be suspect. I'm watching you, Negro.
All of these details. That way people, know that someone is got their back and no one is trying to run off and scam on them.
Now, you guys may have heard of him on YouTube for very, very long, and he seems like a very, very nice guy. But I beg to differ on that. Let's look into his profile to see if he's a guy that you should ever invest with. I won't even get into all of the receipts, all of the emails, all of the documents, because for now, I'm going to save that for a little later. But I have a lot. And he does offer tours. He's a Jamaican American. He takes people to Africa, and he offers investments. Now, if you want to do a tour with Bomani, I can't really comment on if the tours are bad or not. I've actually heard pretty decent things. So doing tours into Africa, that might be something that he is good with. But investments in Africa, that is something that you probably should not go through. That means buying any land through Bomani, any real estate or anything like that, okay? Just imagine, would you go to a travel agency to buy real estate in America? No, you wouldn't do that, okay? So anybody offering tours, investments, and repatriation, in my honest opinion, there is no way that they can do all of those things successfully. And indeed, Bomani does not, okay? Now, if anybody heard about the Fianca project in 2013, 2014, he was associated with that. And you had 2 African-Americans that were killed in the project. Now, he wasn't the lead, from what I understand, but he was associated with marketing that. Then there was the Garvey project, okay? And he was promoting this on the website, okay? I remember he was using a lot of energy talking about Garvey Town and all of that. Well, we're going to use his own voice and narrative to talk about how Garvey Town failed.
The problem that we have or had with Garvey Town is what I'm going to bring Richard in. It's an illegal situation to where we want to make sure that we as the individual have complete legal ownership of the land that we're getting under our 99-year lease, and also to be able to be a part of a company itself that's registered there in Ghana.
Now, if you don't believe me, search for Uhuru has an interview called Garvey Town, an opportunity for Black Americans to own land in Ghana with Bomani Tyehimba. That is right. He was going to YouTube channel to promote Garvey Town. And then he turns around, as you've seen that video, and that project failed. How do we know it failed? Garvey Town is dead. 2004 to 2020, 16 years of failure, RIP, suicide from disorganization and fraud. Now, most people never want to take any ownership for anything that they do. And Bomani is no different. There's no accountability. He's going to blame somebody else. It was somebody else. It was not his fault. So let's say that he was not a scammer. He has a history of projects not working out, okay? And then if you're a person and you send Bomani money, you have a good possibility, a very great possibility that Bomani is going to lose the money, all right? I'm going to link the interview for the Search for Uhuru. You can watch him bigging up Garvey Town, why you can invest, and then he turns around and says,
Why did your boy Uhuru have money? Why don't you not calling out your boy, search for Uhuru? Why didn't he vet the person he brought on his show? Why didn't he vet him? Why didn't he investigate this dude? He's been on the show a few times. I seen him on there some years ago. Like, nah, I don't trust this dude. But why aren't you calling out your boy, your friend, the one you grew up with, Uhuru, the dude calling himself Uhuru? Both of you scam Negroes are from Sacramento, California. Both of you from Northern California. You calling this dude out, the Jamaican? He wouldn't have got access to nobody if he wasn't able to get on Uhuru's channel. Why you ain't calling them out? Go ahead, Joe.
Suicide from disorganization and fraud. Again, a person who does tours, a person who does investments and repatriation, there is no way a person can do that successfully. That's like going to a company that sells real estate in America and a company that also has real estate and also does rentals. There is no way a company can do that, especially Bomani's company can't be that big. He must be the main guy handling the majority of this stuff. I won't talk about his unprofessionalism or any of those other things for this sake of the video. Just understand that if you're going to invest, this is not a person, in my honest opinion, that you would risk your money with, because he has a history of having projects and not delivering.
Should I be watching your friend's channel who promotes the dude? Your buddy, your boy. I told you a long time ago, all you bastards was scamming. See, you kind of transitioned to your clickbait. Shout out to Rick calling you out because you did give up the scam. You now calling the scams out. But all you guys were all scammers. You too, Big Nose. You all were scammers. But I give you credit. You didn't, got your own new hustle that's working for you about the dating and explaining Africa to people and your celebrity nonsense you do. Your clickbait. Because you never was any black stuff at all. Anyway, you was not like some revolutionary Negro. You were, middle of the road moron. So why don't you call out your boy? He's on the Uhuru chat. That's your boy. That's your buddy. You making it ambiguous that this dude ain't got no channel. He got no clout. Why is it on your boy's channel? Well, go ahead, Joe.
Blaming somebody else. Next up, we have the Exodus House, a lady by the name of Renee. She's been living in Tanzania. Now, this is different because Bomani lives in the States, in Atlanta, I believe, but he's always touring places in Africa. This lady is from the East Coast, I believe New Jersey someplace, but she also moved to Tanzania.
She moved to Tanzania.
She's out there with the...
I seen this con woman too, but I don't see how you... Black people, I always tell you about the con men, but I did stop. I stopped looking at it because I go hard and destroy people. People get mad. You go too hard on people and blah blah blah. If I smell con man juice on you, I got to pour water on you. Go ahead, Jeff.
BA real estate land scammers doing a different type of scam. She's selling that CMOS.
We are looking for CMOS entrepreneurs. Because I've identified where we fit in the supply chain.
The next person we have is Renee X. This is a Jamaican American that is involved in a CMOS situation, okay? For those of you guys who know,
and they always clear this, and pause. Whenever they do that, like the Meaty X, they always try to plot, that's the fool you Negroes have. They have some attachment to Malcolm X. That fake Meaty X, that mulatto broad, and this broad from Jamaica calling herself something X. They have no attachment to Malcolm X, but they know that's a name that you Negroes know. Go ahead, Joey.
CMOS in Tanzania. Before she did that, she had like a bread and breakfast type of spot called the Exodus House. And of course, with the Exodus House, a lot of people were coming in and staying with her. And she came in with other people like Mark Meets Africa, and they were, heading over to the continent. Well, the problem is
Mark has left because Mark was getting scammed by the local Tanzanians. Mark said he was trying to buy land. He bought land. He said, "Yeah, but you're going to have to give us $10,000 first." He kept getting. I tried to give Mark help him out in his comments. And Mark, you got to get with Tanzanians. These people don't know you. They got no you people go over there like you're like their long lost brother. These people don't know you. And they ain't got no affiliation with you, and they ain't got no love for you because you say, "I'm coming back as a Black American, Black person." So what? You're not part of the tribe. You're not part of the history, and you just some other Black dude. You must network with other Tanzanians. Like us building a restaurant. We're going through Tanzanians, William and Serafina. We're not going through us. We're gonna let them be our mouthpiece. I'm not gonna be out there. Especially John Magufuli did. Like you said, John Magufuli died and everything went crazy. That's right. It's business as usual, just corrupt as usual again. I'm not going over there as Keith trying to talk to some government official. You're gonna hear my accent and gonna try to, hey, I need some more money. Nah, I ain't got no more money for your ass.
Really came after African Americans when she said this.
The description of this video is pretty much what it says. Like, I'm just completely disgusted and discouraged beyond all belief of doing business with African American people. I am so tired of being abused, and I'm tired. They know you are Jamaican daddy. And most Black Americans know scams. They know you was a scam artist. And they were calling you out. See, we from America, the scam capital of the world. So you being from Jamaica, running your fake Jamaican hustle in Tanzania, that ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna get us to go with you. You come from a culture, I hate to say it, Jamaicans, you come from a culture of failure. I'm gonna be honest. You come from a culture of sellouts and failures, and we don't trust you. That's just keeping it real. We ain't doing nothing with you, and we're gonna investigate you. And so when they found you was a scam artist, now you cry. I can't scam nobody. Go ahead. Because they believe that I'm on YouTube, so I can't. I don't want to destroy my business, and but I am so
they knew you scam a business.
Hurt of the things that has been happening to me from dealing with African American people, and I am
we'll sell to the Jamaicans. Ain't the Jamaicans coming to Tanzania? You got a whole restaurant called Rastaland. That's a Jamaican dude. Sell to the Jamaicans so they won't hurt your feelings and not the Black Americans.
Crazy. And like when we talk about networking, since we have Jamaicans in Tanzania, you can also go collaborate with Jamaicans if you want to push your things, networking.
How about that?
Tanzania, if you want to get the customers or attract, market in Tanzania, speak to the Jamaicans who have been there before. They get you to the Tanzanians, can help you go through. It's again, like you said, networking, but
networking.
That y'all are the nicest, bestest people on the planet.
So all of a sudden, Black Americans are doing X, Y, and Z, and she can't take them. They're the most disrespectful. But you have Renee X, who is scamming people out of CMOS. Okay, so people are investing in her CMOS company. She took the money to do something else with it. All right. Now, there is a guy, African Jumbi, a guy who supports T3andMe. He mentioned this about Renee X and how people were being scammed by her.
And pause that. And T3andMe are Americans, though. They've been over Tanzania for like 5 years. Those are Black Americans. So obviously they got scammed by this Jamaican lady because they believe, remember, sometimes all skin folk ain't kin folk. They like, Black Americans are all this stuff. She's Black though too. And the Jamaicans are tribal just like the Africans. And they have no problem in scamming you. I already told you, the Jamaicans are tribal just like the Africans. So you as a Black American, you should already know this by them growing up in our communities, how tribal Jamaicans are.
I'm not rocking with you in no Tanzania. I'm keeping. That's I know, and you can prove who you are. You can keep all your Jamaican shit. You keep all it for me. I don't trust you. I'm just keeping 100. I'm not doing no business with you. I know your culture. I know your behavior. No. Go ahead, Joe.
First went to Tanzania, and they talk about this lady with the like CMOS business. She reached out to me asking me for help because she sent thousands of dollars to that woman, and she claimed that she was scammed. She was asking me for advice how to get involved with the Tanzanian police. She was gonna come to like Tanzania or whatever. Yeah, I said I don't know anything. I don't know these people.
Again, here is another person, a Jamaican American, in my honest opinion, who has, some level of chagrin towards the African American community or FBA,
They do.
but she can't be accountable.
But I told you that. I told you, with these Jamaican Negroes, there's a lot of jealousy with us because they still live in the American considered continent, but Jamaica's poor and they never done nothing. But there's a lot of jealousy there. And we never had no jealousy to these people because they never, in Africa, people like Jamaica, we never had no thing with Jamaica because they're really nobody to us. They never developed anything or became nobody. So we didn't have no problem with Jamaica. But they've always had like this sick jealousy with us because everything they've done came from us. It's that tribal thing with these Jamaicans. It's crazy to me. Like when Joby showed that Jamaican lady in Jamaica, was that Katie? In Jamaica, talking about, I'll never let a black American come stay at my resort no more. I just won't do it. But you let the Chinese, other people come there. So what do the black Americans do to you later? But it's like this. That's why I said it's the worst. That's why I told Sister Michelle they were going to treat her husband bad when he came back from Sudan. She didn't believe me. And then when they did it, said, oh, I said, who did it? The Jamaican Sister Michelle? Yeah, it was the Jamaican. Yes, that's right. That's right. That's right. But go ahead, Joe.
Can't show me none of
that Jamaican.
Again, this is a person who came to Tanzania as a single mother, struggling, didn't have a way to make income. And whatever you do to try to get in business with her, she's not going to be legit. You are definitely going to lose your money. There is no way she understands the CMOS business. I'm pretty sure if she's in Tanzania or anybody's in Tanzania, they understand that business much better than she does. So
she came to Tanzania from Jamaica broke. Came from Jamaica broke, and then started scamming in Tanzania. Yeah, because they don't get no Jamaica. They don't get no money in Jamaica. They're broke. I think Jamaica's poorer than Tanzania. So you come there broke, and that's their hatred. We know you're broke. The Tanzanians might do. They love your goofy Jamaican music. They think you got money. They don't know Jamaica's a poor island. Jamaica's 10 times poorer than Kenya. You gonna come to me telling me something about some helping me do something? Nah, go back to Jamaica and fix that shit first. That's what you do. Go ahead, Joe. Hey, Joe, we said, go back to your country and fix it first, please.
I'm not going
this is my Joby accent. Go back, please. Go back to fix your country, please. Go back and fix it first, please.
Likely is poor, and this is what happens with a lot of scammers. Scammers are poor. All right, they don't have money. They've never had money. They never will have money. All right. So when you send them money, they can automatically be unaccountable for it, and they can go missing. They can hide out. I mean, look at Mark Meets Africa. We call him M&M's. Mark and Merge Scams Incorporated. He's blaming everybody but himself. And he's not going to come out of hiding. In the moment that you send your money to any of these guys,
he's hiding. I told you. See, I told you. See, Mark is in hiding. I said I ain't seen him no more. I tried to tell him, Mark, you in Tanzania 4 years? You keep making all this. Where's your networking, son? I understand you're a baby. You're in your early 20s. Where's your networking with the people? I never seen it. I said, anybody scamming you, Mark? You haven't made no connection. You speak Swahili, but you ain't made no connection with nobody. Because you're a weirdo. You're a weird kid. You haven't connected with the people because you're weird. You're a weirdo. I'm going to keep it on. You are a weirdo. You're a weirdo. You weren't connecting with the people. That's why they had no connection with you, and they had no connection with you as a brother. That's why they had no problem scamming your goofy butt, because you had no connection with these people, because you had done no networking on the ground. And I just said that when you did it. I kept it real. You gotta have a connection with people, a love, a camaraderie. But you people don't develop none of that. You come to scam, and like Joby said, you think African people are stupid, and they're not. They're not. They know you're just there for their own opportunity, so they got no problem in trying to be corrupt against you. There's no reciprocity with you. You're there to see what you can get from them. They feel your energy. Go ahead, Joby.
Gone. All right. They are going to be gone. Damn. Renee is really serious about that CMOS life, right? If you guys want to invest and lose your money, I think she's the perfect person that you can go with. The next guy is a Jamaican by way of London. Now, that's interesting, right? We got scammers coming from everywhere. The States, we got Atlanta by way of Jamaica. Then we have Jamaica by way of New York. Now we got Jamaica by way of a British accent. Now, this guy has a channel called Life with Kings or Life with the Kings. And he is a Hebrew Israelite, him and his lovely wife. Let's get into their profile. The next group of scammers are from the UK by way of Jamaica, and they are called the Kings. And they had a show called Life with the Kings. Now, unlike the first two culprits who are American-based, these guys are Israelite-based. And of course, you're seeing more of these religious-based scammers coming onto the platform. Anybody that is pushing Hebrew or Israelite agendas and moving back to Africa, I would be very, very cautious of that. I don't want to throw everybody into the bus, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And these guys are no different. They have nothing to do with these Israelites of religious superiority.
Religious nonsense, crazy talk, because that shit is all wackadoodle and crazy. Crazy, fake Israeli talk. Hebrew talk. Anybody gets involved with this religious cult, you're touched in the head.
Or their stuff doesn't stink. And when you watch them, you'll see stuff like this.
Your knowledge and your understanding of all truth. We thank you for your grace and your mercy, for the forgiveness that you show us each and every moment of the day, Father.
And you'll see stuff like this.
With Amos 3. So let's get straight into it. Hear this word that the Most High have spoken against you, O children of Jacob, against the whole family, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth.
Stop the cap.
You'll see topics on their page. Search me, prayer warrior, fear of missing out, idolatry, adultery, surrender, Amos chapter 5 and 6. So now we're putting a whole bunch of religion into everything that we do. And so when you watch them and they're talking about their family vlog, they're talking about what they're doing, their home and land, they sold all their home and land. But what they didn't tell you was they stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from people in the community. I'm going to leave in my description interviews of people that they have scammed from Kiki, Loves Nigeria. You can watch it, but again, this is what they try to do. When people are untalented, they want to mix in faith with lifestyle, and that's exactly what they do. Look at their banner, faith, lifestyle, adventures. What's the adventure? The adventure is scamming you. And what do they want to always say? Look at it. We are a loving family who puts the Most High over everything, except for scamming, right? Scamming is everything, and then the Most High. I don't call these people the Most High or anybody associated with them. They're the Most Lie Crips, all right? These Israelite guys who are scamming are not real Israelites. They are the most lie
And then
Crips.
it's sad because when you come, especially to black people with that religion nonsense, and if you're still caught up with the religion, it's easy for
Exactly, Joe. Exactly. Say what you say, Joe. You're exactly right. The religion is the way they get to you and drain your money. Go ahead, Joe. You're
yeah,
right.
so like it's the man of God. How can the man of God do this? Of course not.
Crips. And again, this is no offense to Israelites who are not scamming people, who are actually doing true things in the community, whether you're in America or abroad. But these guys are coming underneath the Hebrew Israelite sort of doctrine. Okay? Returning back to Africa, getting out of Babylon, using a whole bunch of religious content, looking like a strong family, a family that is perfect, a family that, doesn't make
And
so
remember,
many mistakes.
Joe. Remember these Hebrews said they're not African. Why are they going back to Africa? They said they're not African. Then we was just arguing. I was arguing a thing with me and Joby, and one of the dudes in the show, Joby cut me off. He said he was a Hebrew, he wasn't African. Remember? Joby said, no, it's enough. We gotta go to my show. Goodbye.
He said he's a Judah.
All right, he's Judah. They said they're not Africa. Why are these two fake Hebrews going back to Africa? Because they know you guys believe any kind of shit. You don't know nothing about these religions.
Then what they're doing is using people. They're selling land. If you are people that are religious, why are you selling land? You shouldn't sell land. Okay? Look at this. Off grid in Ghana. You have all these things. They're selling Yahuda Village.
All in Ghana, Yahuda Village.
None of these things are going to happen. Farm for sale is one of them. Okay? They're trying to sell stuff. Why? I can tell you why. They don't post enough content to make enough money. Doing this. YouTube is actually a hard job. So what they do is when they come online, they got to get people that will buy so that they can scam. All right? This is what they want to do. So once you decide to deal with them, then you're going to lose out. And losing out, you will a whole lot. Again, this is weaving and sandling type content. You're going to be very broke and dusty, giving your money to the most lie Crips. And as you know, people have never seen the money. We don't know where the money went. We don't know where it's at, but we do know allegedly he has a new house and he's back in London living it up, and he doesn't post anymore at all. And he's trying to give these religious teachings. And after
I'm back in London. I'm back. I stole his money, and I sent you Negroes to Africa with nothing. But I'm back in London, living next to Jenna Mosquito, partying. Yay!
This, as African Americans who dominate the repatch space around the world, we love our brothers and our sisters, no matter who they are. We also
we're not we're the most few people that's not tribal. That's why we love all. But like I said, we're not tribal. Even though they're doing it now with this FBA Tariq shit, they're making us tribal with this goofy FBA xenophobic nonsense. That's the CIA. I'm positive with that shit. But we are not tribal naturally. We accepted all black people. So we whoa. Some of these black people ain't right. Some of these skin folk ain't kin folk. And I told you, these goofy Jamaicans done bit me over and over again. I look at you side-eyed. Here we go. Go ahead, Joe.
Is for as far as this repatch space is in the diaspora, dominated by FBAs. We have to also understand that not only are other FBAs or African Americans predatory, but some people who are not necessarily in our community predatory. Okay? We have to understand and look at that people through the history understand that African Americans are very accepting. We will spend money and support people.
Exactly.
And all of these individuals who are getting this support could not do this within their own community. Bomani would never try this in Jamaica. Either number one, there isn't enough.
Because they're tribal and the Jamaicans are effed up towards each other. That's why they see. He knows. That's why he used Marcus Garvey. Remember, the Jamaicans didn't accept Marcus Garvey. He had to come here to America. And when he went back, they didn't accept. He ended up in England with Joe Mosquito. The Jamaicans, they say, oh, you know what? Marcus Garvey is our #1 son. But you don't never know the Jamaicans never accepted Marcus Garvey because he told them to stop worshiping white people. And they did the same thing to the kid. They started throwing stones at his ass in Jamaica. You gotta get out of here. They never accepted, the Jamaicans never accepted Marcus Garvey. They did the same stone throwing thing they did in Kenya with those other guys. Hey, what? We gotta start loving the white man? Are you crazy? Yes, we must stop it and get off our knees. You gotta get your ass out of here. So they won't accept when he became famous, when he became popular, but the Jamaicans never accepted Marcus Garvey. But they got statues all over the place in Jamaica now. Our #1 son. They never accepted Marcus Garvey. That's why he didn't die in Jamaica. He died in England. He got deported from America because he was dangerous. Americans back to Jamaica and went to England because the Jamaicans' own people never accepted him. Go ahead, Joby.
The man for this, or maybe they feel like he would be dealt with seriously. Same thing with Renee. She talks about Jamaica. She loves it so much. There's a reason why she isn't there. Life with the Kings. He came to Ghana and didn't go back to Jamaica, where he most likely has some connections. You want to know why? Because the diaspora is in Ghana, and that is where the money is. So we also have to be careful too. This
because
does not mean
Jamaica is poor. You see how Jamaicans don't now want to go back to Jamaica? Because it's impoverished. This is Tanzania won't go back to Jamaica. Why don't you go back to Jamaica? You like, I'm Jamaican. Why don't you go back? Because guys, you haven't been to Jamaica, I've been there. Jamaica's impoverished. It's impoverished more than Africa. Okay? So, them going to Tanzania and Kenya and all, that's a come up. Ghana, that's a come up. Jamaica's impoverished. Go ahead, Joe.
Do not like us or predatory with us and stuff like that. You also have to give an account of all of that. Take this into account, okay? I'm not trying to tell anybody to be predatory of another group, but understand that if you don't see their behaviors of supporting the Black community or the diaspora community online, that person is not really a Pan-African. That person is predatory. And that person is over there because they want the African-American dollar. Bomani does not do any business with Jamaicans. Bomani does almost 95% or 100%.
He can't do no business with Jamaicans. Jamaicans are broke. I'm going to do business with Jamaicans. They ain't got no money. But Jamaicans been trying to get out of Jamaica. Jamaicans are like the Nigerians. You find the Jamaicans every damn where but Jamaica. Hey, he ain't doing no business with no Jamaicans. They broke. Go ahead, Joe. Keep it 100.
Okay? A lot of people target African Americans because you will accept them. And then they take the money and then they scam your people and disrespect them. But they would never do that in Jamaica. Let that sink in. Make people, all people, give you value. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you one thing. Jamaicans will make you give them value before they accept you. Everybody with us does that.
Exactly. The Jamaicans are tribal. That's right. I'm just telling you what I know. I know it. I treated them like they were just regular Black people. I ain't know them growing up like get around all these goofy Jamaicans. They're tribal, Jack. I was like, whoa, what's with these Jamaicans? What's going on with these cats? How about you in America? What are you talking about? I'm not in Jamaica. You here. We made a way for you to be here. You didn't make no way for me to be back in broke ass Jamaica. What are you talking about? Gee, trying to flex on me. You come from a broke, poor ass country. What are you talking about? Well, you got it because my people marched in the street to get you here. What are you talking about? Acting all crazy. So, see, Joby don't understand my problem I got with Jamaicans. I never explained it to her. She likes their music. I get it. I don't even like their music. You keep all that reggae nonsense to me. I know who they are as a people. I'm like, oh no. They are the worst as far as being anti-Black. These Jamaicans, and they're trying to. And he's good. He don't got that goofy Jamaican accent. You don't know he's Jamaican. He'll play with you, man. Yes, brother, come in. You don't know he's Jamaican. Because he ain't used that Jamaican accent. As soon as I knew that, as soon as I hear that Jamaican accent, my red alert goes into okay, I'm watching you.
Tag FBA and they want to sell you something that's a big product. The question is why? Same thing even with FBA, but you should be a little bit more scrutinizing someone. Why are they targeting African Americans? Why is a person doing that? We want to know. If the person is a Hebrew Israelite and they're from London or any other place, we know that most Hebrew Israelites are African American. Who are they targeting? Think about it. They're even sounding the Most High. They're talking all these. Okay, well, we know there's probably not too many British Hebrew Israelites. So where did you get the doctrine from? They are also getting down with the program. And this is not to say Hebrew Israelites are scamming, but we know that some people under the guise of Hebrew Israelites are doing land scams. And if they are in Ghana, and if they're trying to preach religious things to you, understand that they're going to get your money and go back to London and then spend it with their community. Okay? You are a lick. Be aware of those things.
You are a lick.
Exactly. So that's the video I wanted to share. So be careful with your Jamaican friends. All of them.
They'll get Joby ass. Joby be in Jamaica. We're going to take Joby in Jamaica dancing to Jamaica. I'm so happy to be here. We're glad you're here, sister. Welcome. You are our family. I got something I'd like to sell you. What?
I'm not. That's one thing I know for sure. You have no idea how many times I've escaped being scammed. Like for real. So no, I'm not that easy to get. Try someone else. But Karibuni Sir Trevor who's in the chat. Let me go to the commentary. Let's get it. Second conversation. I see Jason Ali was saying family on my mother's side used to cook like this hot water
cornbread,
sweet potatoes, gumba, etc.
That was delicious, Jason. Woo! See, we get Joby in there. Joby wouldn't want to leave your house over there in Compton. She stay in LA eating that hot water cornbread. Woo! I don't even know what Kenya is no more.
I am very, very choosy with food. Not really that much, but with something I've never had before, I'm really kind of ish about it. That's for real, but I'm kind of very careful, So
I don't know about that, Jim. I see you eat anything.
I know. Macaroni and cheese and cornbread is something I'm just gonna be, seeing.
I said, Joe this guy eating Popeye's chicken, but he was eating the macaroni and cheese from Popeye. He's like, oh, this macaroni and cheese is garbage, though. But I'm still eating it. It's garbage. Yeah, because that's that fast food mac and cheese is nasty. That's the good. I'm still eating it. Though. I mean, this mac and cheese is garbage.
Maugali. I see Jason says most older black folks in their 70s and 80s still have garden and still practice food preserving.
They do.
15, 20 plus years. Yep. That's nice. That was what we were talking about also earlier today on my show. How Africa had plenty of food and we could go seasons without, ever knowing what hunger was actually.
Exactly.
Ricky Karibu Sana also says, I don't want to hear about food. I want to know what's going on in Africa only. Come on, you gotta eat too. Come on, you
gotta eat too, Ricky.
Exactly. Come on, don't act like you don't gotta eat. Danny Karibu Sana, he says as long as there aren't GMO fruits and vegetables, I'm good. Well, for us, it's easy for us to know actually. So you can't find me tapping into.
Shout out to Dan. Dan was a Hebrew Israelite for about a minute. They asked him for some money. Dan was in there, Joby. Dan was in there. They asked him to give them all their money. He said, I'm done with this religion.
I'm glad you walked out of there. They would have drained all of your pennies, literally, every cent. Jason says homegrown chicken and the roasters taste better than them GMO chickens full of
Of course they do.
yeah, we're also talking about that earlier today on our show. How people in the village, when they come, they bring in their original chicken. It's nice, and for them, they just want to eat meat. You're like, what? Meat over chicken? You know, it's crazy. Give me that chicken. It's nice, man. Also, Sidani says, goddamn, that's worse than people fighting in Popeyes over chicken sandwich. 500 pieces. I know that's crazy, man. I know that's
No, that 500 pieces, $500 worth of chicken. It was a bunch of it was a bunch of Chinese, mostly Chinese. I seen like a couple East Indians, but they were all Chinese. It was one black girl, and the rest of them were Chinese. I thought it probably was like a tour bus or something going down to Panama City. And all these Chinese. I was just telling Joby, I'm gonna get some chicken. I said, usually I went in, it was crowded. I was like, God. Hey, all these Chinese people come from. What the heck is going on up in here? But so I got in the line, said, yeah, I'm number 2. And they said, well, it's going to be about 10 to 15 minutes. We just had a $500 order, and that's going to take all the chicken. We had to cook some more. At $500? What the hell ordered $500 worth of chicken? I said, oh, it's these Chinese people out here sitting down. What the? So the guy in front of me said, forget that. I go over to Taco Bell, give me some tacos. I said, brother, you're not gonna wait for the chicken? I said, nah, I ain't waiting on no chicken. I gonna give me some tacos.
Jason says, what's the deal with that suspicious shipping container that washed up in Jamaica full of suspicious meat?
Oh, meat, that meat. They all ate it. Any other Jamaicans who are the Jamaicans say that family don't eat the meat, but they're poor. I let Joby, it's probably on YouTube. All that bad meat, the container shop, they was all in there, grabbing the meat. Yeah. Just like the Africans when they get the oil that blows up, right? They all run to get the oil and gas and stuff. They run to get the petrol and it blows up because they're poor. The Jamaicans are in the same situation. Oh, it's meat! Meat! He showed up in there. Man, you don't know what's in that meat. Crazy.
Mm-hmm. I also see 10 Speed Karibu Sana. He says, y'all may go to grocery store to get some collard greens right now. You're going to the grocery store to get the collard greens right now.
Oh, you're going to get some now. All right.
Okay. Jason says certain CMOS is toxic besides the good one. Well, you got to order ours. It's organic. Don't get scammed. This is why we keep telling you guys to go.
Don't get that Jamaican ladies CMOS in Tanzania.
Exactly. We have order hours. We have CMOS on our website. Beauty Friends.
All right. We're not running scams. How does a poor Jamaican move to Tanzania and start talking about selling CMOS? You're already poor.
Shout out to John Mosquito Karibu Sana. 10 Speed says Hebrew Israelites say they're not Africans, just like Kid says.
Exactly. What in Africa? They say they're not Africans.
Mm-hmm. John Mosquito says do they not understand that Israel is in Africa?
They don't, General. They don't, because the whole ideology is stupid. That's why I was arguing when we met Joby Show the other day. Said no, we're from Judah. That ain't got to do with the landmass. Israel, moron, is in Africa. I know they tell you it's not. It's on the continental plate. That thing you call Israel, that's actually Northeast Africa. Throughout history, that's Africa. They don't know that because they're all stupid. It's crazy.
Ricky Snow says, my grandfather born in 1875 and died in 1976, said Marcus.
Wow.
Caucasian men, and a guy on TikTok did the show about Marcus Garvey Party and LOL with Caucasian men. Okay.
What? He said Marcus Garvey did what for Caucasian men, Joby? What did he do?
Marcus Garvey works for Caucasian men, and
it could be true. It could be true. I don't know. I know the Jamaicans didn't want him. He's supposed to have been fighting for black rights and raising black people up. But I haven't done enough research on Garvey to say one way or the other. But I know the Jamaicans didn't want him there. He left. Then they got a big old statue in Jamaica trying to claim him. Our favorite son, Marcus Garvey. You people didn't even like his ass.
That's nice. Yeah, we're gonna switch to the next conversation. That is the
Yeah.
fate of the United States
Okay.
Empire.
Yes, I sent you a bunch of videos, Joby. The first one. But,
Okay.
so if you guys understand, the United States with the tariffs, now they're backing down. America is a falling empire. It's due to collapse. And so what Trump did was try to tell China, come to the table about these tariffs. China said, nah, you're gonna do what we want you to do. Because they hold the cards, we don't make nothing. And like the Chinese have been showing all throughout. If you guys on TikTok, TikTok is the best. Ain't been on no dang Instagram, ain't been on no YouTube, been on TikTok. TikTok has been showing they make all the shoes, they make the phones, they make all the luxury brands. They just showing they throwing it all in the ground. Look at this. The Louis Vuitton say we don't make it. Look at this right here. Louis Vuitton. They throw it in the ground. Look at this crap. Look at the Nike. If you want to get it for cheap, here go the email address, and we'll sell it to you for $2. And this is how you beat the tariffs if you want to ship it in. All right, yeah. China's flexing power. It's hilarious. But I'm going to let this gentleman right here tell you, I told you when I first seen they charged the tariffs and our interest rate still went up. That means the dollar's worth, the value is gone. And then I'm going to let the third video is going to be, if you guys remember Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the individual that wrote that book, he tells you America's about to be the poorest country in the world, and it's starting now. And you got Negroes out there line dancing, clapping fans and stuff, dancing. Choop, choop, choop. Yeah, I'm dancing. You're going to be dancing with your stomach touching your backbone. So
should I start with?
the first one I sent you, Joey. I said, Joey, play this one first. And it's your culture. So this white man said, Europeans, you come from a failed culture. Your culture is Greek. This is what you've always practiced. You got to control the world. But let me say where Joey plays it. You got to control the world. Then you told yourself you was superior to anybody. China was richer than England and France. You colonized them. Called them savages. India, as I had Joby show you, India was 10 times richer than England, 10 times richer than France, but they wasn't a savage. So you conquered them and called them savage and stole their wealth. So how are you better than them and you were poor countries than India back then? But see, this is your culture. And now that everything is now falling apart because things work in cycles, guys, cycles. You thought you was going to continue to run the world for the last 500 years. No. Things rise and things fall. And so when America falls, all of Europe is going to fall. And see, like I said, the only way you can stop this is war, because you can't compete with anybody. You're not this great white hope you told yourself. You're not the smartest. You're not the best. And you know it. And the only way you can stop what's inevitable is to go to war. You must go to war against China and everybody else and blow everything up and let everybody go back to nothing. To keep you think that's going to keep your superiority, but that's not going to work either. That's why you're talking about you got to go to war with China, because you've already lost. And the Chinese are telling the truth. Yes, you gave all your jobs here, you hollowed out the country, but is that China's fault? No. And all the capital's moving over there because they don't care. What else I want to have, Joby? I'm fine. And so that was the plan. It's not in that bill. The plan was they plan to make China a power, like I said. So you were delusional and thinking your whiteness, the color of your skin made you something. But they sold that to you for 500 years. And now you're finding out that your whiteness is worth nothing. It's fake. You can't compete. That's why you got the Chinese calling you fat on TikTok. Hey, yeah, you want to do factory work? This is you doing factory work, all fat and messed up. So the only thing you can do is go to war, because your culture, you come from failed culture. European culture's always been about stealing, graft, rape, pillage. You've been able at that time, people didn't know who you were. People meeting you for the first time. Me meeting Joby. I know Joby's a scam. She's going to knock me my head and take all my stuff. I'm loving. I know Joby's a savage. The rest of the world didn't know you was a savage. coming out of Europe 500 years ago. But they know now. That's your problem. They know who you are now. And so you ain't gonna be knock people in the head, steal their stuff no more. That game is over. So now you're gonna revert back to your type. Stealing, you're not gonna be able to steal people's stuff. They know who you are. And so now your empire in America and Europe, you're gonna collapse. And you're gonna be impoverished. That's what's coming. That's baked in the cake. England, France, Spain, Germany, Denmark, Netherlands, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. You're going into poverty and nothing will stop it. That's your future and nothing will stop it because you can't change your mindset. It's your culture. It's who you are culturally. You don't be kind and nice to people. They know who you are now. So you don't be a sneak and knock somebody in the head and steal their stuff. The Africans are now starting to claim back the resources, Ibram Traore. And that's gonna be the domino effect throughout Africa. You're not gonna stop that. So you're gonna be cut off from resources. Because people know who you are. Okay? So you have an economic collapse that's coming to America. And when America falls, all of Europe falls with it. All white Western countries will fall with America. All of you going down with this sinking ass ship. You're trying to, you see Europe and you guys are all trying to detach, trying to get out. No, you're going to sink with America. Now you see Europe talking about, oh, we're going to get rid of Green New Deal. We're going to go to build a military. Because they got to build a, now Europe wants to build a military. Who's going to fight? The Africans that you hate in Europe? You don't got no white people to go to war with nobody. Who you going to fight? China? Are all these Africans going to fight for you? Most of these Africans in Europe are cowards. They going to run their ass back to Africa. They don't fight for you. They're not going to die for you. And they get disrespected up in England and France and Spain and Germany. Why would they fight for you? They say, oh, no, we out of here. We ain't doing no another war. Not for these white people who hate us. So any real war, technically, you're not going to win because most things will be drone warfare. The Chinese leading drones. You can't put that World War II technology out there, the aircraft carrier. You send a bunch of drones and blow that stuff out the water. So, white people, you want wars. This will be the end of you. It's the end of you anyway. I'm letting you know. This is the cycle. You're in the downward cycle. This is the end of your rule in the world anyway. But you're just, with this war, you're just making it faster. And Trump, yeah, he's a puppet. Trump is the one facilitating the crash. I said that. That's why they made him a Jesus figure, so you morons wouldn't know that. All right? The Chinese are telling you, hey, MAGA, you're stupid. You MAGA people are stupid. You don't know what they manipulated you morons. They stole all your jobs and gave it to China. But what we do, we invested back in China. We invested back in good roads and good schools. What did your rich do? Bought big mansions, bought big yachts, bought big cars, and didn't give you nothing. Go ahead, Jeremy. Go ahead, play it.
All right.
And this is your mindset. This is your culture. So you're not going to be able to change yourself from falling because culturally you're messed up. European culture has always been a failure, but you failed forward because you were savage and you conquered places because you were more savage. But after a while, that comes when people start to know you and start building military to fight you. So that's not going to work no more. Go ahead, Joe.
The tariffs, pause the tariffs, it doesn't matter. The damage is done. Confidence in the global markets and trust has been demolished at this point.
Damage is done.
That's the point. I mean, the point is American isolation. That's what's happening. And that's what will happen. You know, I keep explaining that this is the direction. And it's a direction that has no U-turn. It has no detour. It has no turns at all. It's an irreversible direction, you know? Look, I understand why people simplify things, you know, by thinking that the OCGFC is like some organized cabal. It's not, but I completely understand why it makes it easier to think of them that way.
He can think it's not. He can think it's a bunch of other people with money not doing it. It is control.
Way of looking at how the highest tiers of the economic, political, and financial hierarchy work. It's not really a cabal, but like if you think of it as a cabal, you can imagine an OCGFC white paper or a memo about what their plans are. You know, confidential for super rich eyes only or something like that. I mean, you have think tanks, you have organizations like the World Economic Forum and so on. More or less, that's what they do. They're not generally coming up with ideas and strategies or anything like that. They just articulate or translate into the language of policy proposals what the OCGFC already intend to do. Think tanks are basically PR firms for the political class. Like I was saying the other day, if you were someone from the OCGFC, the A National OCGFC, and you made an evaluation of America and the global landscape, say 10 years ago in 2015, well, we can imagine what that would look like and what responses you would probably recommend if you were from that group. It's not that hard, really. You know, you'd be sitting in a boardroom looking at macro trends, political forecasts, demographic data, capital returns, and of course, the viability of maintaining control, of sustaining dominance without destabilizing your own structures. You know, you'd want to extract, you want to continue growing, but not at the expense of triggering systemic collapse that you can't contain. So you'd analyze America, you know, the heart of your power for decades, and you'd start preparing plans because the situation, the real situation, has changed significantly from the early days. So if you're someone from the A National OCGFC, the owners and controllers of global financialized capital, and you made an evaluation of America and the global landscape from around 2015, you'd have some very stark conclusions. The trends were all there. The writing was on the wall. And if your goal is uninterrupted profit extraction, geopolitical control, and long-term systemic stability for capital, well, America just didn't look like a good bet anymore. We can go point by point. You have demographic decline. You know, you'd see declining birth rates in the U.S. Total fertility rate was already below replacement level by 2015, sitting at around 1.8% and dropping. By 2023, 2 years ago, it hit 1.62%, according to the CDC. That's below replacement level of 2.1. Well, that means in the future, shrinking labor force, increased aging population, higher dependency ratios, and so on. More strain on social services, less domestic consumption over time, on and on. Compare that to India or to Nigeria or to the broader sub-Saharan region. Nigeria's population is expected to double by 2050. India already overtook China as the most populous country in 2023. The center of gravity is shifting. Then you have other issues, like the OCGFC would have looked at Ferguson in 2014, Baltimore in 2015, seen the rise of Black Lives Matter, not because they care about racism or police violence, not at all, but because civil unrest is bad for business. Then, of course, Trump happened, 2016. Half the country was radicalized. The other half was traumatized. Social cohesion was fraying. Trust in institutions was plummeting. In 2021, the trust barometer showed that trust in the media and the government had collapsed. The Capitol was stormed, right? So-called insurrection. This is not a good environment for capital. You have political dysfunction, you have gridlock, you have polarization, institutional paralysis.
But he's not positive. But he's not understanding that was done on purpose. He's not understanding this was done. This is not an accident that they did. He doesn't want to mention the J's, the hats. He keeps trying to avoid that. He just calls them some nebulous term, the OGC, whatever he calls them. Right? That was on purpose. That was he said you that they were extracting the wealth. They wanted to hollow out America, extract the wealth. They do corporate extract and leave this place hollow it out. As the Chinese are saying on TikTok, you've been hollowed out. That's a fact. And then move the empire to China. And that's a fact. And they got to, like I said, Africa, no matter what they tried to do, I keep telling you, that's the future. Africa has the youngest birth rate, has the most birth rate, and the youngest people. So everything, the focus, China's also dying. You know, China's got a great empire now, it doesn't matter. China's dying. I'm telling you, demographically, they tried to stop that. Africa would dominate. Tom Joby's 50, Africa will be dominating the planet. Because I'm trying to show you the demographic shift that's happening. China's dying. It's getting old like America is. So you got to go where the money's at, and that's going to be in the youth. The youthful population is in Africa. That's where all your new inventions are going to come from. That's where your growth of money. And remember, Africa was underdeveloped. So it's going to be millions of dollars, millions of millionaires made in Africa because Africa has to develop. It needs everything. It needs everything. So that's why whoever goes to Africa is going to get rich. Because Africa is the future, whether you like it or not. They know that. He's going to say that's not just a fact. It's the most useful place. The black guy, not the Arabs up in north. Those people, they gonna get dealt with too. That's coming. So the black African is the most useful person on the planet. So everything will go because who's gonna be able to buy stuff? The African. So they must raise his living standard up so he can afford the stuff to buy. So manufacturing, just by necessity, will move to Africa. China will be too old. This won't happen. America will be too old and washed up. And that's why I tell you, Africa will dominate. All you goofy FBA morons who hate Africa, you're going to be poor and messed up. I told you by 2035, they're saying that the US dollar is going to be zero. That's even before black Americans' money reach zero by 2050. By 2035, the dollar is expected to have zero wealth. I think it's early now. I don't believe that. I think you got maybe a good 4 years. That's my opinion. He's just telling you the truth. It's not changing. You're an old population in America. You're old in China. The youth, you're old in Europe. So where's the growth going to come from? From Africa. It has no choice. That's just the future. Go ahead, Joe.
Infrastructure fell into disrepair.
Leave your emotion, yeah. We have no infrastructure. We disrepair. Our schools suck because they didn't reinvest in the country. They were hollowing out the country. To get rid of your emotions, how you feel about Africa and African people. I'm giving you clear-cut analyses. I'm not putting any emotion in it. I look at the numbers. I don't put my emotions in it while you feel you're African, you're not. I don't get caught up in none of that goofy nonsense. I look at where the future's coming from and where's it heading. And that's where it's heading. America is done. You're a declining empire. And you're not going to bring nothing back because you don't have the skills, you don't have the money, you're broke. I'm letting you know what's coming. And when it starts happening, don't say I didn't tell you. You can talk about your FBI all day long because America's going to suffer a power vacuum. Not going to have no civil war. People too stupid. They've been too propagandized too. So when the country starts falling apart, you're going to have fractions that break the country apart into like 5 different pieces, like a Sudan or Russia. They want to break into 5 different pieces. You're going to have power vacuums in America, and people are going to feel those power vacuums. You might have America split to 6 different countries, 7 different countries. But a revolution? No. You're too propaganda. You're too stupid. Now you're too dumbed down. So there will be power vacuums when it collapses here. And African Americans, you better have your gunplay right, because you know who they're coming for. You better have your ammunition and your gunplay right, because nobody's coming to help you because you will have power vacuums. Go ahead, Joker.
Civil engineers, the U.S. had a C- rating in infrastructure in 2021. Meanwhile, China's Belt and Road Initiative is transforming Eurasia and transforming Africa. Deindustrialization between 2000 and 2015, the U.S. lost 5 million manufacturing jobs. Whole towns were hollowed out. The OCGFC had already offshored production for profit. And by 2015, America was becoming too expensive, too politically unstable, too socially chaotic to remain as a global manufacturing hub, or even as a reliable research and development center in the long run.
They did that. They did that on purpose. He's acting like it's an accident. They did that on purpose. Go ahead, Joe.
Valley had become dominated by monopolies: Google, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft. Innovation was consolidating into platform control, not expansion. Growth in users had plateaued. The next billion internet users weren't in San Francisco, they were in Lagos, in Jakarta, in New Delhi.
In Africa.
And of course, we have America's educational decline. By 2015,
Pause it. Your educational declines on purpose. Most people, right? Big Cheese always laugh, I call everybody stupid. I can tell everybody's dumb from the way we use our slang, our language, our linguistics. You go back and read or look at any video just 60 years ago, an average gang member in California's vocabulary was bigger than the average person today. They dumbed us down. You cannot critically think. Most Americans are stupid. That's just a fact. He's nicer with it. I'm just more aggressive and maybe more, in your face. But most Americans are morons. And that's just a fact. He tell you, yeah, they haul out your education. Go ahead, Joe.
38th out of 71 countries in math and 24th in science. Student debt exploded to 1.6 trillion by the 2020s. STEM graduates were fewer compared to China and India. By 2022, China was producing over 1.4 million STEM graduates annually. The U.S. was less than 800,000. Not to mention you have the U.S. military budget that in 2015 was 600 billion, and yet it couldn't even decisively win in Afghanistan or in Iraq. These wars were not producing capital returns. They were bleeding the treasury. The OCGFC doesn't fund loss-making ventures unless there's a strategic payoff, and even then they want an exit strategy. And already by 2015, you saw a rise in multipolarity. Russia was asserting itself, China was asserting itself and rising. India was asserting autonomy. South-South trade already grew to 25% of global trade by 2015 and continued rising. The US was no longer the center of the world, even 10 years ago. The BRICS bloc, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, in 2015 wasn't yet economically integrated, but the foundations were there. And post-2022, after the Ukraine war and the sanctions against Russia, it really kicked into gear. Countries began trading in local currencies. De-dollarization began. Even Saudi Arabia and the UAE joined BRICS Plus in 2024. These weren't just symbols. These are this represents a structural realignment. And in 2015, global digital infrastructure outside the US, Facebook and Google started losing market share in key markets. Africa's fintech sector exploded. Kenya became a cashless society.
Kenya's got
services.
Kenya's cashless. Pause it. Kenya, of all places, is cashless. They're using Pesa. They only ever use cash. So they dominate even. I'm just letting you guys know. Africa is the future, whether you accept that or not. Joby, tell you about M-Pesa. Joby, how much cash do you ever even use, ever?
I don't remember the last time I touched it. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Unless my phone is going off, that's when I'm forced to withdraw cash. But it's very rare. Very, very rare. Very rare.
Yeah. And this is Africa. So everything's got to go to Africa, guys. This is where the growth is going to be. So the Jays are going to, of course, be sneaky trying to take it over. Of course, that's what they want to do. But they know America is done. They hollowing it out. That's why they stole all the wealth out of here. And then they wanted to hollow things out so you wouldn't be able to come back and get their ass after that. Okay? They're going to hollow out your military. They're going to hollow everything out. And when everything collapses, you're not going to be, everything's polarized now, right? Like he's saying. So there's not going to be any revolutions here. They're going to have power vacuums. So the country will split up. There will be 5 different countries in the United States of America named all different things and have no power at all on the world stage. You will not be a world power. You have 5 different factioning countries that used to be America because there will be there'll be a power shift. Like I said, a power vacuum. That's what's happening. That's what's coming. So all you morons think you're going to get reparations? I told you weren't going to never get it. Country's broke, and the country's racist. You're not getting any reparations from America. So good luck with that. The country's going to collapse before it gives you anything, and then you're not going to have the United States of America. It will be fractionalized at least 5 or 6 different countries. And whatever it's named, I don't know. But it's going to fraction. There won't be no revolution to put it back together because it's too polarized. It's too racist. So it will never come back together as one cohesive country. It will be polarized with the racists over here, the other morons over there, they will break up to 5 different pieces at least. There'll be a power vacuum up in here. And you think the people that put all the money don't know this? They know it. That's why they set it up this way. I'm telling you what I know. Nobody talked about it. It won't be the revolution. This is my thoughts. I'm telling you what I know. It's going to be a power vacuum, and the country will split up at least 5 different ways to Sunday. There won't be no 2 united. There'll be like these 5 different countries in this one country because of the polarization of people. There's no unification here. So you're going to have it polarized. The South don't like the North here. The North don't like the South. The West don't like the East. East don't like the West. The Midwest don't like nobody. Polarization. Breakup. Because it's going to be broke. So you're going to have a power vacuum. Go ahead, Joe.
Began building data centers in Nigeria and in Kenya and in South Africa. In 2023, Microsoft pledged over $1 billion to build AI infrastructure in Kenya and in East Africa. Understand, these are not experiments on their part. These are exits. So what would the OCGFC, the A National OCGFC, conclude in 2015? America is unstable.
Why do you think the UN is trying to move from America to Kenya? What do you think that's about? They know America's going to collapse. They want to set up shop where all the money's going to be and try to dominate Africa. They know where the new wealth is going to be at. They know that Africa is the wealth now anyway. They want to actually rising again as well, that they control it. You didn't know the UN planned to move to Africa, to Kenya, to Nairobi. These are not accidents. They know what's coming. Go ahead, Joe.
It's expensive, it's divided, and it's in decline. While the global South is young, cheap, fast-growing, underdeveloped, and full of opportunity.
Told you, young, underdeveloped. See, Africa needs everything. You're going to make millions of dollars in Africa. Africa's underdeveloped. That's millions of dollars being made. Underdeveloped. So it's going to have to be developed. There's going to be millions of dollars doing it, too. Go ahead, Joe.
Decoupling, and so they did. First, they inflated asset prices, stocks, crypto, real estate, causing a massive speculative boom through ultra-low interest rates. And then that money was used to invest abroad. And then when COVID-19 came, it just accelerated it. Lockdowns crushed small businesses, and Amazon, Walmart, and big tech consolidated the economy. Remote work normalized the outsourcing of white-collar labor. Venture capital flooded into India and Africa. Between 2021 and 2023, venture capital investments in India crossed $30 billion. Microsoft announced a $2.1 billion data center expansion in Japan in 2024. Google built its first cloud region in Africa in 2022. Then came Ukraine. The US weaponized the dollar, froze Russian reserves, cut them from SWIFT. You know, that told the world your money isn't safe if you defy us. And the response? Well, countries started trading in yuan, in rupees, in dirhams. BRICS formed a common payment system. By 2024, BRICS Plus included Saudi Arabia, Iran, and the UAE. Global South nations began financing their own
trade. And that's on purpose. The Jays, the Hats wanted to destabilize the dollar, and they got because they're gonna collapse it because there's no value in it no more. It's dead weight. It's worthless. So, if you guys want, I'm not gonna show you guys. I'm building like my life depends on it right now because I know the dollar's gonna have it's going to be completely zeroed out to nothing. And I'm telling you now, I told you guys, you better have gold, you better have silver, or you better have crypto. And right now, you better just deal with maybe Bitcoin. I'm going to do a whole Bitcoin show. Because you're going to have real assets outside the dollar, guys. The dollar is going to zero. This is what they're doing. And that third video I'm going to Joby show you, the guy wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he's telling you that. But I already peeped it out. I've been saying this for years. And we're here now. We're in it right now. I'm saying you got maybe 3 years, maybe 4 at the most. But I'll be building shit every month. Every month I'll be building something. So when this worthless dollar collapses, hey, it won't take me down with it. Because the dollar is going to zero. And they're the ones doing it. Because they've already hollowed it out. It's worthless. Go ahead, Joe.
Dollar's dominance dropped from 73% of global reserves in 2001 to under 58% in 2023, and it's falling. So yeah, if you were from the OCGFC back in 2015, this is all predictable. America is being phased out, not because they hate America, but because America is obsolete. It's no longer has a utilitarian purpose.
Exactly. Well, it is because of hate too. But they came in, made the fake central bank, stole the money, and then they hollowed out so America can't do damage to them when all these white people wake up and say, whoa, we're all broke, we're all poor, we're 5 different countries. What happened? And you start researching what happened, you won't have the military or the infrastructure to do nothing. Because America is going to be one of the poorest. America will be a third world. This is a fact. This is in the cake. And this is what they're doing. He's letting you know. And they are doing it on purpose. He said they are doing this on purpose. Because they don't want you to be able to strike back at them with the military when you find out that they did it to you. Go ahead, Joe.
That they're the center of the world. But in the boardrooms of the real rulers, the future is being built elsewhere, and it's not red, white, and blue. Any economist or any planner would have been sitting in a strategy room with analysts, looking again at economic data, at demographic projections, and so on. You look at the United States and say, well, this platform is reaching the end of its utility. The cost of maintaining hegemony through this particular nation state are starting to outweigh the benefits. It's aging, it's divided, it's expensive to manage, it's politically becoming unstable. So if you're part of the OCGFC, what do? You don't outright destroy the US, but you phase it out. You extract what's left, you wind it down. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's economic logic. The US had served as the central hub of capital expansion for decades, but by 2015, it had already passed its peak utility. The OCGFC began transitioning towards new centers of gravity, young populations, deregulated markets, resource-rich regions, primarily in the global south. So you gradually want to move R&D and manufacturing out of the US, and that's what we've seen. Not only low-skilled labor, but also high-end production, innovation hubs. Investments have been relocating. I don't know if you know, tech, R&D, pharmaceuticals, chip production, even advanced robotics, gradually shifting out to Asia, to India, to various pockets in Africa, where you can build without oversight. At the same time, you've got to keep the US population passive while you're doing this. That's where that's where you need fragmentation, cultural division.
He told you, He said he must keep you passive. He told you, he must keep you passive. They must be able to steal everything from you without you waking up, because you'll want to go to war with, you'll find out who's really doing this to you. Then you'll want to go to war with them before they completely destroy you. That's why all the distractions are keeping you dumb and stupid. You don't know what's going on. You don't know which way is up. Because they're trying to make sure you don't try to, put a gun to their head while they robbing you and leaving out the back door with all your stuff. That's what's going on in America. They want to make sure when you do collapse, you have no recourse to come back after them. While they set up in China, Africa, the Middle East, whatever. Europe and America will be collapsed. That's what's happening. Go ahead, Joe.
You pump identity politics to the front of the national conversation. So people fight each other instead of paying attention to whose asset stripping the country. And then you get a gift. They got a gift, a perfect gift. Like I said, COVID-19. I'm not saying that the OCGFC created the virus. I'm saying that they did, though, instantly recognize how to use it. They weaponized the pandemic.
They did create it.
It was about behavior.
See, that's why I can't trust them. They did create it. They didn't say they created it, but they did profit from it. They created it. Go ahead.
It was about the opportunity to impose sweeping restrictions on movement, restrictions on commerce, on speech, on assembly, all under the cover of public health safety. And think about what happened. You had people locked in their homes, willingly, voluntarily, basically, not under threat of terrorism, not under martial law, but under a health directive. You had curfews, mask mandates, business closures, on and on and on. You had people telling on each other, snitching on each other, attacking each other for not complying. Well, that's gold for the OCGFC. That's textbook behavioral conditioning. You had that society where every moment was being spent online, working remotely, consuming media, buying products, shopping online. You were feeding the whole system that they're transitioning into. Small businesses died. The gig economy took over. Amazon basically became a state. Data collection hit unprecedented levels. Actual human interaction shrank, and the dependence on your devices skyrocketed. COVID was the bridge. It was a dry run for a new governance model. Now, meanwhile, you push the financialization of everything. Housing becomes an investment vehicle, not a human right, not actually about shelter. Education is dead. Health is a subscription service. The more insecure people become, the more predictable they become. And that's what you want if you're from the OCGFC. And while all this is happening in the US, you're building your new base in the global south. You fund startups in Nairobi, data centers in Ghana, AI labs in India. You build supply chains in Vietnam. establish fintech ecosystems in Latin America and Africa, because that's where your next few decades of growth are going to come from. At the same time, you're preparing the decline of the dollar because that's inevitable. So you support digital currencies, your own private systems, you know, you pressure governments to lay the groundwork for central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. Why? Because that gives you total visibility and total control, every transaction traceable, every participant programmable. And the US just becomes a managed decline, a controlled demolition, like I said. It's useful in some parts, but dangerous in others. But main thing, it's no longer central. So when people say that the pandemic changed the world, they're right. But more specifically, it changed how the world would be controlled, how it would be managed. And the thing is, the public complied. That's what made it so successful. They complied, not through fear of authority, but from a sense of moral duty. You know, that's the brilliance of it. You don't need tanks in the streets. You just needed hashtags. You just needed social pressure. That was the real innovation of what they did during COVID. So if we're imagining what the OCGFC would have said back in 2015, that's it. That's the trajectory that they would have laid out. And that's exactly what we've been living through. Exactly what's been happening. Like I said, the world that we see today didn't just happen by accident. If you were from the OCGFC 10 years ago, analyzing the US and the global landscape, you would have been making these long-term strategies. You can even walk through the timeline, like I said, to see what I'm talking about. From decoupling capital to geopolitical shifts with Russia and Ukraine, China, and so on. It all fits perfectly into the grand strategy. We're seeing the execution of a plan that's not just playing out as we speak, but a plan that has probably been in the works for more than a decade. Stage one, you can say, accelerating the economic shifts, reorientation of global power from 2015, 2016, and so. The writing was on the wall in 2015, US. The economic structure was deeply flawed, especially after the 2008 crisis. The recovery was weak. The wealth gap was growing wider. And at the same time, you had fast rising markets in India and Southeast Asia and Africa. They were outpacing the US and outpacing Europe in terms of growth. The US economy was still recovering from the 2008 financial collapse. And the growth was largely funded by financial speculation, not by robust manufacturing sectors, not in America, not in Europe. Meanwhile, China's economy continued to expand very rapidly. India's demographic advantage became a clear boon consumer-wise, and the global south was rising. So by 2016, the OCGFC started to put its capital outside the US, moving investments into rising markets. The world was not going to be dominated by the West anymore. They knew this, and they started decoupling from American financial systems. They started laying the groundwork for a new, more diverse global order, multipolarity, so-called. And you can say stage two was the decoupling from the US and integration in the global south. The US-China trade war was in full throttle. The US was increasingly becoming a protectionist power under Trump. And that wasn't helping their own economy because it wasn't supposed to help their own economy. On the other hand, the global south was increasingly
It was supposed to collapse.
its own potential, not just as consumers, but as producers. By this time, we see a massive increase in foreign investments into countries like Vietnam and India and Indonesia. Countries that once relied on Western trade and finance were starting to form their own alliances and their own economic systems. So the OCGFC continued its push to shift resources away from the West. You know, Apple began relocating production out of China into countries like Vietnam, India, Indonesia, to avoid tariffs under Trump, to capitalize on cheap labor. This is diversifying trade across the global south, you understand? This is increasing South-South trade. The BRICS countries, India, China, Russia, you know, South Africa, Brazil, they formed a more cohesive trade bloc. South-South trade began to flourish. The US and Europe were no longer exclusively the economic centers of gravity already. As much as the neocons tried to hold on to power, the OCGFC started pouring capital into these economies that were growing, that had larger populations, that were rapidly modernizing their infrastructures. Like I said, India, China, and in Africa. It wasn't just about trade. This was about creating new centers of power. You understand? It's moving out of the West. Then, of course, in 2022, you had the Ukraine war. And I know we're all familiar with the geopolitical chaos that situation caused, but from a long-term strategic perspective, this was an incredible opportunity for the OCGFC. The sanctions on Russia that followed the war were supposedly to crush Russia's economy and force it to comply with Western demands. Does that sound familiar? But in reality, that accelerated the shift away from Western-dominated financial systems. You know, the West said that they wanted to isolate Russia, but the sanctions just boosted BRICS. Russia pivoted quickly to China and quickly to India.
But they knew that. That's why.
With South Africa and with Brazil, with all of the
Pause it. That's how you know that was what they wanted to do. They knew it wasn't going to crush no Russia. The thing is to destroy America. This is the demolition of the United States, guys. They've hollowed it out, and they're trying to now demolish it. That's what Trump is doing. This is the demolishing of, you don't put tariffs against nobody. You don't make nothing. What? What are you talking about? Tariffs on what? China, what do we make that we send to China? Almost nothing. What do we get from China? Everything. Oh, you're putting tariffs on China is going to hurt China. China doesn't get nothing from us. We don't make nothing. We've been hollowed out manufacturally. And the Chinese will tell you, you gave us your jobs. That's not our fault. Don't blame China. Your oligarchs gave China us your manufacturing. You can't blame us. So this is all on purpose. Once they stole the wealth out of America, it was to implode it, with America not being able to strike back at them. It ain't no OCJ, where we call them. It's the J's, the hats. So they were trying to make sure once we haul out America, we need to make sure it's completely broken, so it doesn't have the financial wherewithal to strike back at us. It doesn't have the military might to come back at us, and it's completely broken up. That's why you see all the polarity in America. America can't have a civil war because there's not two sides that agree with it. It's all polarized. So when America does collapse, it's going to fall into 5 different pieces. 5, 6, 7 different countries will break out of what you call America. That's just a fact, because you don't got any unifying ideology in this country. There's no unifying ideology in this country. It's all fractionized. They said it's all polarized. So you're not going to have any, let's come together and fight the government. The government's going to just fall apart. So now you're going to have a power vacuum all throughout the country. That means the country's going to break up into 5, 6, 7 different regions, different countries. That's what's coming. Because it doesn't have a unifying ideology to continue to be calling itself United States of America. There's nothing that's going to hold the country together. It will fall apart and be broken apart. And that's what they know this. And that's what they want. So you will have no power to strike out against them when you find out that that was the plan to hollow you out. You won't be strong enough. You won't be united enough. You'll be trying to survive. You'll be Mad Max over here. 5 different regions of America being Mad Max, trying to survive, trying to eat. All your systems are going to be broken down because your dollar is zero. You can't go to any other countries. All the other countries hate you because you done dominated them, stole their wealth, murdered their people. Who's going to help America? Nobody. And you won't be America. You'll be 5, 6 different countries fighting each other. Who's going to accept your money? Nobody. You won't have any money. So it's going to be Mad Max on steroids over here. And they know that. And that's what they're doing. Go ahead, Joe.
Members of BRICS, they began to align more closely with the global South, pushing for a more multipolar world order. BRICS countries, especially China and Russia and India, continue to push South-South trade, bypassing Western sanctions and strengthening ties with African countries, with Latin American countries, and obviously with the Arab world, with the Gulf, with the Khalij. The sanctions on Russia led to the creation of an alternative payment system, which gradually reduced their reliance on SWIFT. So the US-dominated international payment system is being sidelined. In fact, what happened is that Europe, tied to US policies, found themselves alienated from the emerging markets like BRICS. Countries like India, South Africa, even Saudi Arabia, started to rethink their relationships with the West. They began to see Russia and China as partners in a new multipolar world, and that's how it's been working out. again, China, India, Russia, led BRICS expansion in 2023, drawing in countries like Egypt and Iran, UAE, all of whom are actively trying to divorce themselves from Western influence. So by 2023, the US had alienated Europe from their own economic national interests, pushing them away from Russia, leaving the EU vulnerable and leaving Russia looking elsewhere. So the sanctions had the opposite effect of what they said they wanted to do. It helped Russia to integrate further into the global south and to actually expand and diversify their own economy.
But pause that.
2022, 2023.
Now, I would say this in June. I told you the Jays control Russia still. And we know Europe is controlled by the Jays too. That the Bank of International Settlements that runs Europe controlled by the Rothschilds. Same way the Rothschilds control the banking system here called the Federal Reserve Bank. Everything is scripted for them to do what they want to do. He try to act like this all accident. America don't control America. All your politicians are bought and paid for puppets. They do what they're told to do. This is all scripted, all on purpose by these international banks run by these damn families. He's trying to act like this is just this all accidental. This is all planned out. That's why it's working so well. It's not all accidents that they decided to put sanctions on Russia. They didn't know the dollar was going to collapse. The dollar was already becoming worthless. So they're trying to make sure it continues its way to the bottom, but they want to speed it up. They want to speed up the dollar collapse. The dollar's going to collapse regardless. They're trying to speed. They knew all these policies that they implemented would speed up the dollar's demise and make it collapse faster. These are not accidents. He thinks that these are accidents. They're not accidents. These policies were done on purpose. They know what they were doing. But that's enough of him, Joe. We run out of time. That's enough of him. Go to the third one I sent you real quick. The third one real quick. Because we got to wrap this up. The third one with the guy. I have to say, he's the first one, the second one, the third one.
All right.
So if you guys don't know, this is what's that? Something Kawasaki. This the guy. This the art of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It was teaching people how to become rich, understanding what are real assets and what are liabilities. If something costs you money, it's a liability. If something makes you money, it's an asset. So you always want to be collecting assets. That's why you want to be buying new cars. That's a liability. If you're gonna buy a car and put it to work to do something, that's an asset. You want to build wealth, you must create assets, things that create money for you. You were caught up in fads and I want to look good and let me wear this. Nah, that's same thing like shoes, clothes. It costs you like $1,000, $2,000 bag. That's a liability, and you're stupid. You want to do things that create wealth, assets, what generates money for you. See, poor people think like that. Poor people get caught in brands. That's why you never see the rich. You never see the rich caught up in brands. It's the poor people. And like I said, clubs are for poor people. They be around other poor people, celebrate their poverty. I said, dang.
America's
Go ahead.
In the world starting now. You're going to see the biggest crash happen right now. So that's good for me because the price of gold and silver go up.
That's interesting because most people in India until the last decade have been migrating to the US, thinking that is where is the land of opportunity to pursue the great American dream. But over the last 2 years, we've seen an increasing number of people coming back in droves back to India because that's where they're seeing the opportunity. So that is a very interesting shift that I never thought would happen so quickly in my lifetime.
Say it again, Joby. Say it again one more time.
America is going to be the poorest country in the world starting now. You're going to see the biggest crashes happening right now. So that's good for me because the price of gold and silver go up.
Because he's in real money.
Most people.
Pause it, Joby. He said he's in gold and silver. I've been told you that. Get real assets. Gold is real. Paper dollars are not. So your paper American dollar is going to be worthless because you have an economic collapse happening because you don't have any manufacturing in America. So see, the illusion with America was all bluster. Was all your was all make believe. It was like with Joby and other people around the world thought, oh, America and the American dream. Oh, being American. So that still propped up the dollar. The illusion that you thought America was a great power and had everything, but that illusion is now being stripped away. So as the illusion collapses, the dollar's going to collapse. Because there was never anything to back it up. It's just worthless paper. You're going to take a tree outside of the office and where Joby's at, and it's worth more than the paper we use. And so now the illusion is coming to an end. Right? The illusion of the dollar being worth anything. It's not backed. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. It's not backed by any manufacturing. And now you're in all this debt. And what you see is the Jays try to completely collapse you by making these trade wars. Why would you have a war with China when you don't make anything? These policies don't even make any sense unless you're retarded. I'm gonna fight with Joby. Joby has everything I make. I mean, everything she makes, I need. I said, Joby's gonna run up in my face, and Joby doesn't get anything from me. I'm gonna go to war with Joby. I said, Joby, you better watch out. I'm trying to tell you to watch out. You better watch yourself. I'm gonna stop you from doing what you're doing in my country. You're like, okay. You're like, yeah. Joby said, okay, and I'm gonna put, and you're gonna watch out. And Joby said, Keith, you don't give me anything. Yeah, but so what? I'm talking tough so people can see me talk tough. You know, so all the fraud is coming to an end. Trump is now trying to backtrack right now because it's collapsing quicker than they thought it would. And they scared. So I want you to know, guys, they're scared of this white population turning on Trump. And some of them slowly start doing, you go on the right-wing sites, they're starting to realize that Trump is a con man. He's a phony. See, they propagandized Trump in the white people's mind as some Jesus because white people are stupid. They need a strong man. They need to believe they're superior. And Trump brought back their pride because he talked to people crazy. You shut up, you dirty Africans. You're all shitholes. Yes! They like that. Yeah! Don't realize he's destroying their ass as he's making them feel good because they're stupid. Right? So, now, play the second one, Joe. How much time is that? Oh, well, wrap this up.
The second one?
Yeah, play the second one. Can we wrap it up? We play the Chinese one Monday. Joby's not going to be here tomorrow, guys. I got her doing some stuff. She's been down flexing her muscle with the Chinese at the China Square, knocking them out. Get your ass out of here.
Oh, they better not try me. Oh, my God. The good thing I'm going with someone, so I'll be humble.
I know. Yeah. The more he knows, the more I say, you got to watch Joby. Joby get to going crazy.
He said that? Oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, the more he said that. So you know, it's Joby. Joby's going to be Joby.
Oh, my God. That's so crazy. It's going to be Joby. He's being honest. He knows me.
And we got to defend Joe because she's ours. You know, Joby probably started, but we got to defend her. We got to defend her because she's ours. And it's probably Joby who started the best. I laugh.
Oh my God.
We've been hearing for years now that China is cheating, that they've rigged the system, broken the rules, stolen the way to prosperity. You'll hear terms like forced technology transfers, intellectual property theft, state subsidies, dumping, currency manipulation. And yes, these are serious issues. But if we really want to understand what happened over the last 30 years, why America lost millions of good paying jobs, why our infrastructure is collapsing, why theirs is rising, why China now leads the world in manufacturing EVs and high-speed rail, we need to look past the slogans and ask the uncomfortable question, is China really cheating, or did our own elites simply sell us out? For years, foreign companies wanting to access to the Chinese market had to partner with Chinese firms and share their proprietary technology. That's called a forced technology transfer. Critics say this gave China an unfair advantage, but let's be honest, no one was forced. Western firms wanted a slice of the biggest market on earth. They willingly traded tech for profits. And China said, we'll let you in, but you have to teach us how to build. And we said, yes, over and over and over again.
And that's what I said Africans did. I'll let you in, but you got to teach my people how to build stuff. And like I said, that's what China did. China didn't know how to build anything. They were poor. They said, okay, we'll let you in, but you got to teach us how to build stuff. And And they did. That's what Africa. You don't let nobody in your country until you let them teach me your technology. Nah, you're not coming. I need to know all of it. So my people can learn all of it. Go ahead, Joker.
Earnings call. Yes, there's IP theft, there's hacking, there's state support, but let's not pretend we're innocent. The US runs its own espionage operations. We've interfered in governments around the world. And when it comes to subsidies, the US subsidizes agriculture, defense, oil and gas, Wall Street bailouts, and now tech firms under the CHIPS Act. We don't admit it. China does it openly because their system, the economy serves the nation. In our system, the economy serves shareholders. Currency manipulation? Well, that was true 20 years ago, but not anymore. China's actually spent the last decade propping up its currency to maintain stability. And non-tariff barriers, yes, China plays protectionist games, but so does everyone else, including us. We ban chip sales, restrict Huawei, embargo countries, and rewrite financial regulations to serve American interests. The reality is this: China didn't steal our prosperity, our own elites gave it away. They pushed for China's entry into the WTO, they offshored factories, dismantled unions, and told American workers to learn to code. The steel towns collapsed, the textile mills vanished, the auto parts industry got hollowed out, but the Dow Jones hit record highs, and that's all that mattered. And what did China do with its surplus? It didn't hand out stock buybacks. It didn't pump the money into speculative finance. It built high-speed rail, smart cities, new energy grids, entire industries from scratch. And what did we do? Well, we built financial bubbles. We gutted public schools. We defunded infrastructure. We gave tax cuts to the ultra wealthy and told everyone else to tighten their belts. And now we think tariffs are going to fix this? Tariffs are like putting duct tape on a collapsing bridge. They raise prices, disrupt supply chains, and they invite retaliation. They don't build new factories. They don't create a workforce. They don't fix our broken system.
And they pause it. And they know that. And they know that. That's what I said. Like the other white guy talking that they go. They know this. You think she knows it? I know it. She knows it, and I know it. This tariff what? I ain't gonna put tariffs and Joby owns everything. It doesn't make any sense. I would never even do it. This is stupid. This don't change nothing. You're a declining empire. You're a collapsing empire. You got to start from bottom, but you can't do it. I should let the white guy continue. You can't do it because culturally, your culture is messy. Your culture is predatory. Right in Africa, trying to now get a new scam with these seeds. Your culture is predatory. So you don't know how to really invest and be egalitarian to anybody, not even yourselves. So this collapse will be final. White people, you will stay in the wilderness. I'm going to tell you until you're wiped out as a people. Because your culture, you will not be able to change the culture, who you are internally. You're racist at your core. Maybe not all of you, but the majority are. You're racist to your core. And you're selfish to your core. So you do not know how to be egalitarian to one another. And that's what you have to learn to rebuild. And you don't know those. That's not in your DNA. And so when this collapse happens, it's going to be a rough road for white people for a long time. And the black people decide to stay here with you. Good luck. Go ahead, Joby.
We need a reset. The only way forward is to rebuild this country from the ground up. That means a national industrial policy, one that actually names strategic sectors and invests in them long term. That means infrastructure on the scale of the New Deal, not pothole patchwork. It means vocational training, apprenticeships, and skilled labor being treated with the respect it deserves. It means breaking up the monopolies, punishing offshoring, banning stock buybacks, and rewarding companies that build here, hire here, and stay here. But instead of doing that, instead of focusing on America, what are we doing? We're talking about war with Iran. We're dropping bombs on Yemen. We're spending billions, waging proxy wars on behalf of a foreign government while our own cities look like war zones. We're pushing endless military aid packages, inflaming global tensions, and marching toward another conflict that has nothing to do with the American people and everything to do with the interests of defense contractors and their lobbyists.
That's your personality.
And when we're not trying to start a war, we're fantasizing about expanding our empire, making Canada
the next war.
A U.S. state. buying Greenland, stationing troops on every continent, guarding pipelines and mineral routes, while our own border is a disaster and our veterans sleep in tents. This isn't America first. This is empire first, globalism first, elites first. If we really believed in putting America first, we wouldn't be policing the world. We'd be rebuilding our country. We'd have the best rail in the world, the cleanest water, the strongest power grid, the most resilient supply chains, the best educated workforce, the most secure borders. But we don't, because our leaders aren't interested in America as a nation. They're interested in America as an empire, a brand, a vehicle for wealth extraction.
They've decoupled
And that's
from
the
America.
greatest betrayal of all.
Exactly.
Because
Wealth
China is
extraction
playing
and
for-
then imploded. Wealth extraction, she got wealth extraction and then imploded. Steal the wealth out of it and then implode it. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. Stealing the wealth and then now they're going to implode it. It's reached its time. And now we're dealing with the implosion. And it won't change because culturally, you white people, you can't change culturally. You're racist, you're predatory, you're thieves, you're psychopaths. You come from failed cultures. And that's what you see now. You thought you won because now you savagely invaded countries and taken them over. That time is over. It's over. Other people have now built up militaries to know who you are. You won't be invade nobody and take their wealth and build yourself as the white man on top. That's over. What you making, Joe?
China, acting in its own self-interest. Our ruling class is acting in their interest, not yours, not mine, not the country's. So no, the real problem isn't that China is cheating. The real problem is we've been lied to by the people who sold us a dream they never believed in, who hollowed out our middle class, who told us it was normal to work 3 jobs and still be broke, who mocked the idea of rebuilding this country while cashing checks from companies that sent your job to another continent. They handed China the blueprints. They signed the deals. They wrote the trade laws. And now they want to blame the people who took advantage of the opportunity they created? No, that's not cheating. That's smart. Ruthless, yes. Strategic, absolutely. But we should be taking notes, not throwing tantrums. If we want to win again, we don't need more sanctions. We need more engineers. We don't need more aircraft carriers. We need more factories. We don't need another $1 trillion war. We need $1 trillion investment in America, in workers, in cities, in families, in sovereignty. You want America to be great again? Then build. Stop chasing wars. Stop chasing distractions. Stop chasing empire. Bring it home.
That's for the mega morons.
Start again.
That's for the mega morons. Make America great.
First, and
they don't believe in none of that.
Forward.
Well, lady, that ain't gonna happen.
Who is it?
Oh, not that guy again, Joe.
We've been hearing.
We're gonna just play the last Chinese video I sent you, Joe. At least the last one. We'll wrap it up until we get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, I think there's like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. But they're not trying to make America great again. That's for you morons. They're imploding the country, and Trump is the middleman to keep you. Trump was there to pacify you white people because you're stupid. The last one. Chinese guy, the hat on. You MAGA, you stupid. MAGA stupid. MAGA, you stupid. Stupid MAGA.
Your president, do you know your presidents? They all have a master, and this master like to pee on them.
Wow.
And your government pays so many terrorists in other country, the most evil terrorists, to make trouble in their country, to start color revolution. So many places happened already. So you are not making America great again. You are following a demon straight to hell.
Oh no.
MAGA, let me tell you a secret.
MAGA.
Presidents, they all have the same master, and this master like to pee on them. And your government pays so many terrorists in other country, the most evil terrorists, to make trouble in their country, to start color revolution. So many places happened already. So you are not making America great again. You are following a demon straight to hell.
We'll wrap that up. We'll wrap it up, Joe. We'll let you eat your food. What you eating, Joe? Ugali and something?
Are you sure you
Rima
want?
Wiki?
I'll make you salivate.
What is it? Show me. What is it? See what Joey's eating. Just been salivate. You got angled a little bit. Yeah, okay. Looks like, ooh, it looks good. What is that? Screaming with like barbecue chicken. What is that?
Yeah.
Looks good. What is that? It's delicious. Uh-oh.
Fries, guacamole, and beef.
Uh-oh. Joey in the house.
Period. Yeah. So book me for cooking. Book me for cooking.
Cooking with Joby. Cooking with Joby. Cooking with Joby. Everything Joby to get up and shake her ass.
If you roast me like Kaya, I'm not soft like Kaya. I'm a go. If I roast me like
Kaya is young, Joby. You're a little older. Kaya's like what, 21, 20, 20?
I don't know.
She's young, Joby. She's a baby. You're a little older than that now. You're a little more thick skinned now.
Okay, all right. But anyway, as we literally wind up, let me go through the comments very quickly on what I can. I see.
I don't think we had too many more comments, did we?
Yeah, I see Jibba Jabba. Jason was saying, reminds me of that movie, Children of Men 2027. Everyone stopped giving birth.
That's it. That was Children of God, wasn't it? Children of God or something like that.
John Mosquito says, I'm after some good quality furniture from China. And Jason was saying, well, they're trying to scare folks about that El Salvador prison.
You got to get on TikTok, Jibba Jabba. You got to get on TikTok. They give you all the receipts of where to go buy everything for free. How to get past the tariffs. They're sticking it to them. It's awesome.
They had one guy who was taken to the El Salvador prison who was mistakenly identified as an illegal.
As a terrorist. Yeah, no, as a terrorist. That's illegal. That came from Obama. They can do that. And they keep them there. They keep them there because remember, Obama, this is all you Obama morons who love Obama. Obama suspended habeas corpus. And now he can lock you up without a trial, without saying anything, just you a terrorist. It was against law. This Obama, the first puppet, down.
You're kind of breaking. No, you're kind of breaking.
I got rid. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Joby, sorry.
It's okay. I see Danny said it was a website I saw back in 2010 called Diagol, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, diagol.com, and it was foreshadowed the downfall of America and how it would look as a result. John Mosquito says, I remember that film, Jason. I just recently saved it on my Prime. Share this. See, I don't know. We should have a movie night soon. So if it's something good we can watch, maybe we see if we can review it. Right, Keith? We should have a movie night very soon. But I also see Jason.
Yeah. What movie is it?
Jason mentioned it earlier here. He said Children of Men. Children of Men.
Yeah, it's called Children of Men. Yeah, and you realize who was the woman? What was the race of woman that now could be the only one that give birth? Who do you think that was?
The black woman.
Of course. Of course. Saying that movie, of course.
Mm-hmm. Shout to Dedrick. He says they think they're going to enslave Black Americans again. Look at Louisiana law. They tried to pass. Danny says since America became a military industrial complex, it's been wars for profit. That means wars aren't meant to be won; they are meant to be sustained. Yeah, I watched a video like that. If you want to know actually how this world is controlled, it's through war and also the the video was saying medical system, war and medical system, the war
Yeah.
and the medical system. And also Sudan is saying Mexico might take back the Western lands they used to have. Shout to them.
The funny part, they might, because Mexico will still be united, and they might take back the land that America stole from them. That was Texas, California, New Mexico, and Arizona. Yeah, you're right. They might take it back because America will break. It will be a power vacuum, and Mexico might say that's our land to begin with. You stole it, and that could happen.
Mm-hmm. And excuse me. Danny says rich and poor dad. That was Ray.
Yeah, rich and poor dad.
He reads that a few of his books, and also see Jason saying, without a fight, Danny Harrison, the hand full of whites will do something like their chimpanzees and ancestors. And Emil, karibu sana, hope you're doing amazing. Nice to see you today. Jason says, I think by 2030 we will see a major turning point. I think that's what you meant. Plus something earthquake to really break up the USA. Brother C. Freeman, L. Bobby Hemit, teacher said that. Okay.
Okay.
Until they send out the robots like the movie in the Terminator. Yeah, I've seen so many robots literally they're coming up with. I saw a video where they're even releasing now cheetah kind of robots. Like, what is that really for? Is it for monetizing the forest? What is it really for? A cheetah like robots.
They go to war with you. What do you mean, what's it for? You gotta do no wars. You got to go to war with you.
Just also says I think Trump will get JFK false flag murder so he can go hide out with his small hat cliques. John Street.
They haven't released any files. They're not. So I'm gonna come and release JFK files. It all goes back to the small hats. It always goes back to the hats. Just like I'm gonna release these. He hasn't released nothing. And everybody knows. Even got Goopy Candace Owens telling you who killed JFK. You know it wasn't what they said it was. This fake dude. And all of it said goes back to what Israel. From Israel. We know that. We know that. We know who runs this planet, who runs this country. It ain't what that white guy said, the OFCG or whatever kind of goofy name he's making. He might well call him the globalist or something. He call him the OFGCH, whatever he calls it. Yeah. We know who it is.
John Moscow says rich dad, poor dad, rich dad, poor dad.
Poor dad, that's it. Yeah, rich dad, poor dad. You know what I mean? He said when he grew up, he couldn't go to his dad because his dad was poor. His dad didn't know how to make money. And so he met his friend's neighbor dad, who was rich, and he would talk to him and teach him this is how you make money. It's easy to become rich. You just got to stay away from poor people who don't know anything about money. So everybody said rich dad, poor dad. His dad didn't know about money and they were poor. So he learned about what assets were. Get things that make money. Don't invest in things that take money away from you. You want, like women like, ooh, I want a $3,000 bag. I'm not buying no $3,000 bag. You can get your ass out of here. Women always want to buy stuff that's you, a lot of women. What about things that are liabilities? You got to keep them. What about my dinner? I got to go to a $500 restaurant? No. So people, you stay poor. Same women want all this stuff. So they want rich men. Rich people don't move like that. And every book tells you that. Rich people don't move like that. But yeah, women tell you, we have all this stuff spent. That's a poor person spending that on you. And you're poor. That's why you're asking for it. Because money don't move like that. Everybody has money, it don't move like that.
Send me money. But I think we're gonna wrap it up there. Have yourself a beautiful day. Allow me to
wrap it up.
Go home.
Is it good, Joby? Is it good?
Very. I can't wait to just switch off this camera.
Yeah, you didn't have no screamer wiki.
No.
Well, if you guys see Joby eat, it's not a demure, feminine type. Joby don't mess around, Jack.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not demure. I think you guys have seen. There's a time you guys were laughing in Tanzania. I was eating my ugali. Yeah, I'm not Demi.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I like, I'm in business with the food.
Y'all be down to earth. You're not a fake girl. Ooh, trying to be all ooh. Let me just eat a little bit at a time.
Not me. Invite me and Shumani will show you, we'll show you what's up. But anyway, family, thank you so
Much
much.
love, family.
I hope you guys have enjoyed the conversation.
Y'all will be out, but I'll be, hopefully, I don't think I got them going nowhere. I'll do the show 12 o'clock noon tomorrow, just me. Y'all will be out. Take care of some business for us.
Yep. I hope you guys send the topics like Keith told you. Unless, if you don't do that, no show.
I ain't seen no topics. I'm still going to do a show, but because I've been 2 weeks. I ain't done a show in 2 weeks.
Okay. So much love, family. See you guys on Monday, actually. But tomorrow, I think I'm going to be in for my show, if I'm not wrong. I'll be in for my show.
Yeah, for your show. Yeah. You're supposed to leave whenever you guys leave. I think you're supposed to leave after your show.
Yeah, usually. That is by 2. So much love, family. Have yourselves a beautiful day. See you guys tomorrow on the Pan-African Bliss. Peace. We out.
Much love, family.